What? Oh, okay. There. That's the one. Hey, how's everyone doing? How are we all feeling out there? Happy Friday indeed, isn't it? Oop, that wasn't even the one I was looking for. I was looking for the other one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like super tired, but nevertheless, I hope everyone's having a great day. Um, okay. Yeah, how we all doing? How we all feeling? I've started my slow reread of On Virtue Ethics by Rosalind Hursthouse. I'm super excited for it. That's what we're doing in the book club. I think the very first meeting of it is going to be on uh, June 6th. Um, it's On Virtue Ethics. What is it? The introduction in chapter 1, is it that? Um, I don't know, which Molly, let me know. Um, I think that's what it is, but yeah, you just gotta read the introduction in chapter 1. It's gonna be a great time. Virtue ethics is, like, a really fruitful theory that has, like, truly, like, a ton of depth to it. So I would be I don't know, I'm really looking forward to reading through this with everyone. There's also a PDF available if you're interested. I think it's in the Discord, like the book PDF. Just ask for it, someone will give it to you. But anyway, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Oh, it's just the intro. That's great. That's excellent. Yeah. Um, only the intro. We'd love to see you there. All right. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you think that there is something wrong with being gay. And with that, we'll go to the very first guest.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing well. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yep. How old are you?
28 years old.
Yep. And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Yeah, my insides, if I've seen two men kiss, man, it's kind of disgusting.
Okay. So, do you think that if something's disgusting to you, like if you get a disgust reaction from something, that that means that it's wrong?
Yeah, for me it is, yeah.
Okay, so when you think about your parents having sex, does that fill you with like a disgusting feeling?
No, it
But if you were to
doesn't.
like visualize it, like if you were to stop and actually try to visualize your parents
What
having
the hell?
sex, would
That's
you get a
kind of weird,
disgust
man.
reaction from trying to visualize that?
No,
You
that
wouldn't?
would have
You
been
don't get that's
no,
kind of
because it's a
weird. I mean,
it's a
if
man
I
and
were
a
to
woman.
if I were to imagine my parents having sex, I'd get pretty revolted by that.
It's a man and a
Um,
woman. That's pretty natural, but two men
I think
kissing
that's
and
like
making
super
out,
weird that I'm kind of disgusted by the fact that you're not disgusted by like trying to visualize your parents having sex.
that's kind of disgusting that you're
I think
trying to
it's
make
kind
me
of
visualize
it's
that, man.
probably pretty wrong. Oh, you think it's disgusting? So you do think it's disgusting? Why would
I
be?
mean, have you ever
I
watched a
thought it
movie
wasn't
with two men
disgusting. Why
kissing?
would it be disgusting to try to visualize it if it's not
You ever watch
disgusting?
a movie? You ever watch a movie with a man and a woman
You
kissing
got
and making
exposed
out?
as lying just now, it seems. Why would it be
Have you ever
disgusting
watched the
for me to try to
movie?
visualize it if there's nothing disgusting about it?
Have
It
you
kind
ever
of
watched a
seems
movie
like
with two men
indeed
kissing?
it is disgusting.
Have you ever watched a movie with two men kissing?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, because there's none, because they know that it's repulsive.
I don't think that it's inherently repulsive, but I agree the majority of the
Okay,
population might think that it's disgusting. But also,
and
there are like
there's a
definitely
reason
gay
why,
shows
because it's wrong.
wherein like gay people are kissing. Are there any foods that you find disgusting?
Uh, no.
Not a single one, dude. Fucking goat. Do you think anybody believes you? Not a single food you find disgusting? Not one? King E, if you're off the app, can't hear you. You got to be on the app. I think he ran. I think he realized how fucking stupid that was, and then he ran. I don't know. Kind of incredible, like how utterly able to lie that dude is. Oh wait, one sec. It's getting hot in my apartment. Whoa. Thanks for the raid, AG. Welcome in, welcome in. If you're in that guest request box, if you want to debate this topic, if you think that there is something wrong with being gay, then feel free to request to join. Let's go to the very next guest. Hey, how's
How
it
you
going?
doing?
Yeah, how old are you?
So I'm 30.
Yep, and do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Yes, I do. I think it's a selfish lifestyle, produces no children. I think it's
So
dangerous.
what? Who cares if it doesn't produce children?
Well, you might not care, but
Well, I'm asking, like, why is it wrong to be in a relationship that doesn't produce children? Like, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say that there's like a straight couple, they fall in love in high school, and then they stay in a relationship, I don't know, 14 years, and then they turn 30. And then at that point, they try to reproduce, they try to have a child, and they discover that actually the woman is infertile, that they can't have any children together. Do you think it would be wrong for them to stay together?
do I think it'd be wrong for them to stay together?
Yeah.
Well, they could adopt. They would
Yeah,
need
so can gay
some.
people. Do you think but the question was, do you think it's wrong for them to stay together?
Do you think that would cause problems in their relationship?
Well, sorry. The question is, do you think it would be wrong for that couple to stay together? You've kind of dodged it twice. Two unique dodges each time. I just want a
wouldn't say
yes
it'd
or a
be wrong.
no.
I
Do you
wouldn't
think
say
it's
wrong.
wrong?
No, I wouldn't say it would be wrong, but it
Okay.
could be. Also, I think being gay is a mental illness.
So to be clear, let's just make sure that we have like clear goalposts so that every time they shift, it's just made apparent that they've moved. So at first you said that the reason why being gay is wrong is because it doesn't produce any children, but
That's
now it
one of
sounds like
the
you agree. Whoa, okay, but you would agree that a relationship that doesn't produce children isn't necessarily wrong.
Well, it's going to cause problems, right? It's a problem. It's
But
a
is it
problem.
wrong?
It's a problem.
But is it wrong?
I wouldn't say it's wrong.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So why is
Right.
being gay wrong now that the first criteria failed?
Also, I think it's a mental illness. I think you have a high rate of disease and you
Wait, let's
spread
go.
drugs.
Let's go one silly claim at a time. When you say mental illness, what do you mean?
So up until everything got PC, being gay was considered a mental illness. Also, you guys have
Do
high
you think
rates.
that that's whoa? You're so
Child
desperate to
molestation.
pivot. I don't know why you keep trying to pivot away from your own claims. It's like you're scared to
Why are
actually
gays
talk about the evidence.
higher than the
Whoa, just
general
calm down.
population of being
Stop getting
child
triggered,
molested?
snowflake. Seriously, just
I'm
take a
not
deep breath.
triggered. I'm not
Like,
triggered.
calm down and let's talk about it. So, I asked you for a definition of mental illness, and then your definition of mental illness is, quote, before everything got PC in the 1950s, it was considered a mental illness. Do you think before everything got PC in the 1950s, it was a mental illness as a definition of mental illness?
I didn't say it was definition. I said it was a fact.
I was asking you for a definition.
You really think two guys having gay sex?
Okay,
isn't a
so your definition of mental illness is you really think two guys having gay
We
sex
know the
isn't a mental
definition of
illness? Is that
No.
correct? That's your definition of mental illness?
Yes, it is. You have a mental
Okay.
illness.
I think you might be stupid if you think that that's a definition of a mental illness. If you
Yeah,
think that a definition of mental, like when somebody says, that person has a mental illness, you think what they're saying is, if you think two guys having sex isn't a mental illness, then might be something wrong with you. I think you might just be a bit confused about language. You're
Do you
being
think gender
stupid.
dysphoria? Do you think gender
Why do you keep
dysphoria is
trying to
real?
pivot away from your own points? Let's
I'm
get
not
try number 3 now that your first 2 attempts have failed. What would be your criteria for a mental illness? What makes something a mental illness?
What makes something a mental illness?
Yeah.
When it's destructive personality flaws.
Okay. Are there any gay people without destructive personality flaws?
Sure, they have a high rate of AIDS.
Oh,
they have a
okay.
high
Then
rate
you would concede then that
problem.
not all gay people are mentally ill.
It is a mental illness for sure.
But you
Not
just
saying
said,
that gay
whoa, that's a
people-
contradiction. You just said that a mental illness is when you have personality flaws that are destructive, but you just conceded that not all gay people have that. So being gay can't possibly be a mental illness.
So you're going to say being gay isn't a destructive personality trait?
You agree that there are some gay people that don't have destructive personality traits.
Well, they have a higher rate of AIDS. They have higher rate.
Well, why do you keep trying to pivot, dude? Is there a reason why you're terrified of your own points?
That's destructive. That's
Are
part of
you?
the
It's like you're
lifestyle.
terrified to actually discuss the things that you say. And I can't blame you, right? Like the points are
I'm
really
not
bad; they fall
terrified.
apart immediately.
I
But
s- I
let's
don't-
not pivot. Let's stick and talk to it.
I don't want to
So
dumb down.
you
the
said
conversation.
specifically that being gay is a mental illness. Your criteria for something being a mental illness is that it has destructive personality traits, but you agree that not all gay people have destructive personality traits, which means that you'd have to agree that not all gay people have a mental illness, which
Not
means
all
that you can't possibly say that being gay is a mental illness, because if
Not
it
all
were, then all gay
alcoholics
people
are-
would have a mental illness.
Not all alcoholics are unhealthy.
Oh my God, dude. Do you even want to attempt to engage with the argument?
Well, you're making these straw man arguments.
It's literally
also,
your point.
gays-
Oh gosh.
Gays have a high rate of child molestation. They have a high rate of.
He's still trying to pivot, dude. Why are you so scared of your own talking points?
Do gays not
Why
have
are
a
you
high rate-
why are you terrified to just talk about the things that you say?
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay, so maybe I could I don't know. I don't know if this would be helpful for you. I'm more of like a visual learner. I'm not going to drop you. I'm having lots of fun. So your criteria of a mental illness was something like a destructive personality trait. Okay, so let's go through and like formalize this. So premise 1, being gay is a mental illness. Premise 2, if something is a mental illness, then it is a destructive personality trait. Premise 3, yeah, okay, wait. So being gay is a mental illness. If something's a mental illness, a destructive personality trait. There are some gay people. There are some people who are gay and do not have destructive personality traits. Do you understand how these are contradictory? That these three things together can't possibly be true?
This is just silly, right?
I agree. Yeah, the three things that you've agreed to are very silly. You know, I agree. The fact that you're contradicting
not
yourself
saying-
is silly. That's the sound of you choking on my rhetorical dick, by the way.
Oh God, this is so good. So yeah, I'm sure there's one or two gay guys out there that are normal.
Sure. So then being gay isn't a mental illness.
It is. Being an alcoholic, there's
And
healthy
by mental
alcoholics.
illness, you mean a destructive personality trait?
Magic Johnson's probably healthy, right? He's had AIDS since the 90s, right? Being gay is destructive.
Maybe you're like a visual learner. Like I'm not really
There-
clear
it's
what
like
the issue
saying-
is. Like why
you
you're
could-
like
you
profoundly
could put that-
stupid.
You could put that same analogy with any disease. You could say put it with degenerate gamblers. Some degenerate gamblers win money, but it's not a positive personality trait.
I don't think I'd say being a gambler is a mental illness unless there's a specific mental illness that's associated with the way that you're gambling. And then the mental illness would not be the gambling, it would be the specific way that you're going about doing it. I think you're
So,
just
yeah.
very confused.
So you're confused. You have
So,
gender dysphoria.
Okay, you're saying that being gay.
Blah blah blah.
Okay, so I drew you like a little picture. Let me label this for you. Okay, so I got point A and point B. So let's let so this circle is like the circle of all the things that are mental illnesses, and you're saying that being gay is one of them. And what you
I'm
mean by a
saying-
mental illness is, you know, a
I'm
thing that
saying
leads to
higher-
destructive personality
I'm
traits.
saying higher.
So
than
then let's go
okay.
ahead and shade this in, and that's going to represent all the things that have destructive personality traits.
Blah blah blah. Being gay is not a positive quality in your life.
Okay, so you would agree that the things that are shaded in are the entirety of the things that are mental illnesses, right?
Sure.
Was this too much? Did even like the visual display
So-
confuse you?
That's a stupid low IQ
He
argument.
tripped over his
Not
like 2
every-
brain cells, dude.
not
Holy
ev-
shit.
You could say that about
Fucking
any
spawn
argument.
killed again. Can you imagine failing to track like genuinely like the simplest argument?
You're a child molester and you're gonna have AIDS, and I'm gonna laugh.
What? Do you have any evidence?
You're hired in per capita.
Whoa,
child
did you
molestation.
lose the debate so fucking hard that you had to
No, that's
make
a
up
stupid argument.
allegations?
You can say that about any fucking.
You think
destructive
logic is
behavior.
dumb? You think
Why are
you
you
think
talking
saying
over me?
like
You can
your
say that about
argument,
any
whoa,
destruct-
calm down. No
you
need
can
to
say
get
that about
upset.
degenerate
Seriously,
gamblers.
take a deep breath.
I
There's
don't
no
care.
need
I'm
for you to
happy
crash
you're
the
gay.
fuck out.
You're gonna get AIDS and die. So it's
I'm not
pretty
gay,
fun.
but I understand how you might come away with the impression that
You're
I am the way that I've been
gay.
blowing your
You're
fucking back
gay.
out this entire debate. You know, you're face down, ass up,
What do you-
taking
what do
rhetorical
you
back
call a gay
shots.
guy in a wheelchair?
You know, if I'm gay,
rolling?
then you're gay too, because you're still here despite the fact that you keep getting fucked.
Anyways, it's not positive. You could say your little argument about any destructive behavior. You could say it about degenerate gamblers. You could say about alcoholics. It's just a stupid.
Is there anything inherently wrong with being gay?
Yeah, it's a destructive lifestyle that
Inherently? Is it an
No.
inherently destructive lifestyle?
yeah it results in disease and death.
But is it an inherently destructive lifestyle? Does it
No.
inherently lead to disease and death?
Why are gays higher than per
That's a yes or
capita
no
average?
question, by the way. Are you physically capable of answering yes or no questions?
But this is just dumb. That's just a dumb argument. Like 9 times out of 10,
Does
anybody
it,
that's
is it inherently leading to things like diseases? Is that an inherent feature of being gay, is getting diseases?
Yes,
So there's no possible way to be gay and not get diseases.
I'm sure it's possible, but it's
Another
That's like-
contradiction.
you
Why
don't
do you keep
understand
on
per
contradicting
capita.
yourself? It's
You
like
don't
I'm
understand per
actually
capita.
skeptical that you're even like sentient, frankly.
Oh, okay.
The
You
way
don't
that your
understand
thoughts are
per
like directly
capita.
contradictory one after another.
So, alcoholics are more likely to be involved in car crashes, right?
Wow, another pivot.
Not
Still
every
terrified of his
alcoholic
own
that
arguments.
Crash his car tonight. It's just a stupid argument. It's low IQ.
I wouldn't say that there's something inherently wrong with being a gambler or even inherently wrong with being an alcoholic, depending on how it fits into your life.
It is wrong. It's a destructive lifestyle habit. It needs
Inherently?
to change.
Is it inherently so?
Yes, it's going to ruin you.
But what if it
Right?
doesn't? What if a person goes their entire life and they're able to make it fit into their life in a way such that they don't fail to fulfill any of their other obligations?
Oh, I'm sure it's possible, but man,
then
that's
what's
a
the
hurt-
wait? And what would be the problem with that?
What would be the problem?
Yeah.
It-
Let's say you're gay and you don't get any diseases and you live like a good, productive life. What would be the problem with that?
Nothing.
Oh, sure. So then you don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with being gay?
You know, it's
Is
like
that
buying
correct? You don't think that there's anything inherently wrong?
Yes, there is inherited wrong.
Greg, you have like perhaps 2 IQ points. You just conceded the debate and you don't even realize that you conceded the debate, which makes you even stupider. You may be like the dumbest
possible.
person that I talked to all week, which is really
I-
surprising because I
it's
talked to some really
possible.
stupid people this week.
Per
If it's
capita,
possible,
very
then there's
unlikely.
nothing inherently wrong
Yes,
with
there is.
being
It's
gay.
very, very, very unlikely.
The
You
question
just said,
is it inherently
just
wrong?
said degenerate gamblers can live a productive life.
I didn't say
It's
that. I
not
said
gonna
gamblers in general could live a
There's nothing wrong
productive
with
life.
gambling. There's nothing wrong with being an alcoholic. Yes, it's wrong. It's good to.
Insofar as you're not destructive towards your own life, you fulfill your obligations. You can drink as much as you want up until you start being destructive towards your
destructive-
obligations to
that's a
self and your
destructive-
obligations to others.
It's a destructive and selfish lifestyle.
Okay. I disagree. I don't think that's necessarily true.
Just like
I'd
being
agree
gay.
that it's like a destructive and selfish lifestyle if you're failing to fulfill your obligations to self or your obligations to others. But insofar as you're doing both of those things,
If you're gonna talk
no.
about a degenerate gambler and alcoholic, somehow they pull it off and they live 80 years. It's like, yeah, I'm sure that's possible, but it's very, very unlikely.
sorry, do you think like the average gay person like dies of AIDS?
They're higher than the general population.
But what percentage of gay people have AIDS, do you think? Or like what percent of gay people die from AIDS, do you think?
Globally, probably 1 in 8 gay men acquire
Oh,
AIDS.
I thought you said that it was like the majority of them.
I never said that.
Kind of seems what you were implying.
They're not higher than.
So
average?
first of all,
No.
I don't even think that that's
You-
true.
you're-
In fact,
you're making-
I'm sure if we counted by like just absolute numbers, not per capita, there would probably be more straight people who die of
No,
AIDS.
now you believe in per capita. Now you believe in per capita.
What are you talking about?
Because you, with your little.
You're like hallucinating. You're like
What's that?
shadow boxing. Is there some other conversation going on in your head?
No, sorry, I'm eating a cookie. But your little diagram, your little argument was stupid because you could relate to any.
He like short circuited like 10 minutes ago. His
It's
like
just
slow fucking brain finally popped that one off the stack.
your brain has.
I'm
AIDS.
slamming this dude at light speed, which is why he's experiencing like time dilation. You know, time is slowed down for him, which is why he's still stuck 20 minutes ago.
I don't think so. Well, hey, I didn't install you.
Nuh-uh. That's all he has.
Well, yeah, I hate talking in circles. I hate low IQ arguments. Being gay.
Then you must hate everything that comes out of your mouth.
Oh, you love everything that goes in your mouth
Yeah, sometimes.
because you're degenerate.
I
gay,
also
homophobic.
love the insults that come out of my mouth, you
No,
know,
when you
specifically
get-
the
I
insults
don't
that are
care what
targeted to you.
do. Hey, I don't care
And
what
you know,
do.
you know who
When you
else
get
likes when I
AIDS-
put things in their mouth?
When you get-
Your
when you
mom.
get AIDS- When you get AIDS, I don't want to have
I'm
to
not
pay
gay, bud.
Yeah, you are on the waiting list.
I'm not even gay. I've already explained this to you. But because
You
I've
stuck-
slammed you so hard, you have a concussion, which is why you've already forgot.
You have
He's buffering.
come on. You
Yeah,
would love
Yeah, go run like the same insult that you've already ran before, you know. Is that the sound you make every single time you get rhetorically fucked? Make the sound again, cuck. Make it again.
You're pathetic. You're gonna get AIDS. You should not be
he
allowed
keeps on
to-
cycling through the same insults. He's so unoriginal. He has like 3 insults in front of him. You know, you're degenerate. You're gonna get AIDS. You're degenerate. It's all he can do. He's not creative enough.
So hey, are you in a wheelchair right now? Because
No.
that would be roll AIDS.
Nope.
Is AIDS ate your legs? Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Wow, got the whole squad laughing with that one.
Dude, you're
Also, by the
free.
way, he tried to tell that joke earlier too. Literally, he keeps on recycling his jokes. This is all the material that he has.
Tell me a joke, gay boy.
Is there a
Alright.
reason why you can't come up
If
with
I
like
dropped-
original
if I
insults or
dropped-
jokes?
Dude, if I dropped
Whoa,
you on
gay boy, that one's fucking
it would be-
original.
It would be a hate crime.
If you did what?
Dude, if I dropped you on your head, you'd be crying for a hate crime.
If I
laws.
keep debating with you, people are gonna start thinking it's ableist, quite frankly. He
now-
made the sound
now it's
again.
okay.
Yeah, good boy, good cuck. Yeah,
Now
keep
it's
on making
okay.
those sounds every time I
now it's
rhetorically fuck
Oh,
you.
we could bash disabled people
Uh-huh.
that are disabled. No,
Wait, so you are disabled? You do have
No, I'm
like a mental disability?
so it's okay.
Because
to bash
otherwise, wait,
disabled
which
people,
which
but not
disabled
gays.
person am I bashing? If indeed you don't have a mental disability, then who's the disabled person that's getting bashed right now? Because
I'm
as far
saying,
as I can see,
You have
the only
no
person that's
problem
getting
bashing
bashed in this
disabled
conversation
people.
is you
are
by a
mentally
long
disabled.
shot. It's honestly
are
kind of
mentally
disgusting.
Why do you feel okay to bash people with a disability?
He's like
But
cry
bashing
bullying now, dude. He's pearl clutching. He's clutching his pearls as hard as he fucking can. Every conservative turns into a triggered little snowflake as
No,
soon
I
as you
don't-
start bullying them back. You
I
just
don't care.
said you looked up to me with tears in your eyes
Can
from
I
your
say
your
one thing
5'6" stature and said, "Please, Ian, please stop making fun of that group of people, Ian.
You know, when-
Please, Ian."
when gays
He came in here trying to bully, trying to be a disgusting, vitriolic piece of shit. And as soon as somebody bullies him back, he wants to pearl clutch and cry. He wants to bitch and moan.
Hey, when gays
He's
were
making
bullied,
the getting fucked sound again. Good boy.
when
You
gays were
keep getting
bullied, it
rhetorically
was at
fucked
their
by
own
me, and I
interest.
can't even blame you.
You're not,
Right?
dude. You
Who
did a
wouldn't
gay
want
Venn
to take a
diagram.
ride on this rhetorical hog? And all he
You're
can
not that
say
smart,
is,
dude.
"You're not, you're not."
Oh, alcoholics are.
Oh, I didn't say that, but I've slammed you so hard that you have a
degenerate gamblers.
concussion.
Right. Well, when gays were bullied and kept in the dark, it was better for their own interests. They weren't having gay sex.
Yeah,
out
what's
in
the
public.
argument for
They
that?
spreading disease.
What's the argument that that's better for their
They
interest?
weren't able to spread disease as
What's
often
the
as-
argument that that's better for their interest that they're not able to have gay sex?
It is,
You can have
because
gay
gay
sex and wear a
sex is-
condom and not spread diseases. Did you
It's
know
like
that?
gay-
Were you
it's
aware of
like-
that?
Yeah, like gays do that. Gays have
do.
1,000 partners over a lifetime.
And if you want more gay people to wear condoms,
Gays
you know what
fuck
you should support?
constantly.
You should support
Gays
inclusive sex ed that
constantly.
tells people about how to have safe gay sex. That if
Safe
somebody is going
gay
to engage
sex.
in gay sex, we should be encouraging them to
That's
use
like
condoms.
safe drunk driving.
You actually don't
not
value
safe.
the reduction of
It's
diseases
not
at all,
it.
which is
It's
why you
not
don't
it.
support things like safe sex and sex ed.
Well, there's no such
Do you
thing
think
as safe gay sex. It's like
there
saying
is? What if you wear a condom?
you still have a risk of getting AIDS or herpes.
That's well.
or
Then, by this logic, there's no such thing as safe sex ever.
poo sex. Poo
Is that what you're saying? That's you're saying that there's no safe sex ever, so no sex is ever safe. Is that correct?
Yes, if two.
Holy shit, dude! You don't think there's ever an example of anybody, straight or gay, having safe sex? It's never happened. God, you're fucking stupid.
Yes.
Is
If you
there
have
has there ever been an instance of safe sex in the history of humanity?
two virgin couples having sex.
Okay, but what if one of them has from their parents some sort of STD just genetically?
So you prove my
Is
point,
there
right?
is there a
Diagram.
zero chance or a non-zero chance of that happening?
Sure, but you're talking about
Sure. So then it's not
Outliers.
safe sex. So then
Sure, it could
let's
be one in a
let's
billion.
get try number 2 for this trepid troglodyte.
Are you really gonna compare?
Can you give me a
straight
single
virgin
example?
couple-
Whoa, calm down there. No need to get
Are you really
upset.
Are you gonna really compare? a
Whoa,
virgin
calm
married
down.
couple-
Chill out.
Dude,
Calm
don't cut me
down,
off
deep
with your
breath.
gay voice.
It's
Don't
gonna be
cut me off.
okay. It's gonna be okay. Just dial it down, dipshit. You know,
Are you really
calm
gonna-
down, mouth breather. There's no need to be getting this upset.
are
I
you
understand that you're
See, I
triggered. I
can't
understand
even
that the
say-
debate
I
keeps
can't
going
even
bad for you.
say-
I understand that every time you pipe the fuck up, you keep getting beat the fuck down, which is why that all you can do is make your little cuck noises at your high-pitched really frequencies. He's trying to
anyway.
cope laugh now, dude. He knows that he's rhetorically fucked in this conversation.
Sure, there's a 1 in a billion chance, but gay sex is not 1 in a
Sure,
billion.
so then there's never
Absolutely.
ever safe sex under your criteria.
Sure.
Yeah, so you reject that anybody has ever had safe sex ever. You're an idiot.
That is so stupid.
I agree. That's like the dumbest thing you've said. You're being stupid right now.
You
Yeah.
have a mental illness.
You just
and
said that all
make
sex
stupid
is unsafe. You're a moron,
you
frankly.
can argue. you
Wait,
can
so why
argue
would it
that-
be wrong for gay people to have
I-
unsafe
dude, I'm
sex
not
if
getting
every
argue.
instance of sex of all time is unsafe?
You know what
Why
I
would
love
that be a
doing?
uniquely
I-
bad
you know
feature
what's
of
fun to
being
do?
gay?
I love.
You know
committing
what?
hate
I
crimes
do
with
know what's
people
fun
like
to
that.
do. What's fun to do is
You
to beat you
deserve
the
a
fuck
hate crime.
down and humiliate you in front of tons of
Dude,
people as he
don't
tries
go
to cope
for it.
with his little cope laugh. Ha ha ha, he says, trying to sound like he isn't getting completely rhetorically annihilated right now.
Stupid argument.
Oh
You make
gosh,
stupid argument.
he's so upset.
Heterosexual couple having
He
Like
made the cuck
sex.
sound again. Good boy.
married couple having sex.
Stun locked.
Not really dangerous.
But what if one of them contracts AIDS somehow? Or what if one of them, I don't know, contracts like some STD? Or what if one of them all along had an STD,
Why do
but
gays
it's
fuck
just a
everything
matter of
in sight?
chance that they eventually get it? What
Why
then?
do gays fuck everything in sight?
They don't.
They
For
are
example, not a
the
single
average
gay person
gay
would ever
has
be willing to fuck
1,000
you.
sexual partners over a lifetime.
And somehow
average gay has
miraculously, not a single
1,000
one would ever even consider, even ponder having sex with you.
Why do gays have 1,000
Stun
sexual
locked
partners
again.
over a lifetime? 1,000. That's disgusting.
That's not true.
Having
What's the
poo-poo
citation
sex.
for there? For
It is
that?
true. 18 to 60 years old.
18, 60 years old?
18 to 60 years old. They have
18 to
thousands of
60.
sexual partners.
Source? Can I get the
Gays are
source?
disgusting.
Can I get the source? What's the source for that claim?
So that's a
So
thousand.
okay, I'm
sexual
typing in the
partners.
source. The source is ha 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 ha. So when I type in ha ha ha
How
ha
many gay
ha, actually
partners?
there's no source of that sort that
Average-
comes
yes,
up.
sir. It's over
So
1,000.
your claim is gay people, this is like easily fact checkable. I don't know why you would ever fucking do this because I can just easily pull up a study that
Why are you
disproves
such a gay
this. How many
Gays are
partners
higher. Gays are
does
child
the
molesters. They're more likely to be
average
child molesters
gay
Over a
man
lifetime.
have
over a lifetime. Let's see what
over
it is.
a lifetime? Looks to be
Also-
10 to 23.
That is such bullshit. That is
I'll show
not
it to
even.
you.
No. Where'd you get that?
Oop.
Gables.com?
You want that?
That is not even true. I've seen 1,000. You know that's not true.
You seen it
fucked
where on
dude this
Facebook?
weekend. You fucked
On
him this
goddamn
weekend.
X? Is that where you saw it?
Later, faggot.
Oh, you got blown the fuck out, dude. Genuinely fucking eviscerated. I don't know. That's this topic is like a good rhetorical training ground because you just get to fucking wail on people. You get to like low key. You go to like fucking town on these troglodytes, and he might not have been all there mentally. You know, I may have been bullied some. I may have been bullying someone who has like a severe illness, and you know maybe that makes me a bad person. But what makes me a worse person is that I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep on doing it. All right, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, and all the good stuff. Is AG here? I saw AG earlier. Where is AG? You're more than welcome to come back up or come up if you want. No, I was doing the 1v1 for the clip. Grimmy, thanks so much for the super chat. Guest, I would 100% deposit that being religious is way more in line with being inherently harmful than being gay. Do better. True. Facts. Based. Andrew Coates, thanks so much for the $25 super chat. That's pretty. Stunlocked. I got stunlocked by myself. That's pretty veiny and girthy. Let's get a big W for Andrew Coates. That's impeccable, even. Oklahoma, thanks so much for the super chat. Give his mother a son she can actually love. True. This dude is like ontologically embarrassing. Embarrassing in all possible worlds. Necessarily embarrassing. Adams arranged embarrassing wise. Spaghetti, thanks so much for the super chat. Is this guy's day sharing the one brain cell with Liam? True. They are the Trinity, but with like brain cells, you know. It's one brain, 3 persons, 1 brain cell. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. I fully support that entire conversation and how it went. YouTube won't let me say what I want and keeps making me edit this, lol. Whoa, I don't know. I wonder what I wonder what I was actually supposed to say. But huge W because that is $50, a $50 super chat from Dr. Fudge. Let's get a massive W for Dr. Fudge.
Hi.
Hey,
Sable, please get your claws out of my leg. Ow, 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 ow. You dumbass. Hi, hello.
Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
I'm good. Well, I was before my friend's cat, who's in heat, decided to try and slut me out. This is very ratchet behavior. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. Doing great, even.
Yeah, and I dropped out of the request because that first debate.
What?
Oh, you cutting out, my love.
Sorry, I got a call. But I was saying that first I dropped out of the queue because that first debate was really fucking good. And I figured you were 1v1.
Yeah. It was a blast. I had a time. But hey, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you do think that there's something wrong with being gay as we go to the very next guest. Let's get him on up in here. Maybe not. Maybe Trench Chaplin won't be coming up. You know, we it doesn't need to be like a horrendous faith blood sports debate. Whatever kind of debate you'd like to have, we can have that debate. You just got to be 18 or older, and you do need to think that there's something wrong with being gay. I have nobody requesting to join right now. Hop into the guest request.
Why is no one real?
I don't know. Hey, how's it going, BB?
Hey, so I do got a story, and I do think there's
wait,
something wrong with this.
Yeah.
How old are you?
18.
Okay. Yeah. What makes you think that being gay is wrong?
My sister cheated on her boyfriend. Okay, and she cheated on him with a 17-year-old. So he's like, "All right, all is fair."
How old is your sister?
She's like 20, and her boyfriend's.
I don't know if I trust that laugh. Am I crazy?
Because he was like, all is fair if you fuck me in the butt.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not even gonna risk that one, frankly.
No.
Okay. It's kind of gross, but anyway, on to the next one. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up?
Yep. How old are you?
19.
Yep. And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Well, I wanted to see if I could challenge your question in general.
Okay.
You said there's nothing wrong with being gay, meaning you think that that's basically a fact. Is that true, or
Yeah, that there's nothing like
why do
inherently
you
wrong
state?
with being gay.
So you think that's a fact? That's something
Yes,
that is
correct.
universally should be accepted.
Yes, correct.
Why do you think that's a fact?
Yeah, insofar as there's no wrong-making feature, that in order for something to be wrong, there needs to be something in virtue of which it's wrong. But this would take the form as something that's unvirtuous, and you can be gay and be virtuous. So clearly, there's nothing unvirtuous about being gay, which means that it can't possibly be wrong.
Well, wouldn't that be a different question? You're basically using a different word, a virtue, and that, I feel like if you're saying nothing is wrong with being gay, it doesn't have anything to do with if you have virtues or not.
Well, it
Well, no, if
does.
virtue
Yeah.
can coexist with being gay, then being gay does not get in the way of being virtuous, which means it's fine.
Exactly.
I don't have anything wrong with someone that's gay, but I think it's something that goes against factual evidence based by science.
Like what?
The fact that two people were created, whether it's a creator or not of a
You
creator.
think that's science?
Yeah, created
that-
implies a creator, so you're gonna have to back that up.
Well, okay, also, science distinctly does not tell us that there were two people that came into existence. Science tells us that the entire population of Homo erectus over time turned into the entire population of Homo sapien. You know, we didn't come from like two people, we came from an entire species, basically.
Okay, so if say if we're specific species, right? Then why? I mean, have you heard of any stories of there being animals that
Penguins,
engage
giraffes,
in sexual
bonobos.
intercourse
Yeah.
with the
that's-
same species?
With the same species? Well, fucking most of them with the same species. I assume you mean with the same sex. For the same
there we go.
sex, if you want like a good example of this, literally every single one of our closest ancestors, every single primate species, like gorillas, bonobos, orangutans, all of them, they all have been observed engaging in gay behavior.
I never heard of that, to be honestly. So
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that myself. But
I mean, it's not like a common
but-
fact, you know, unless you've looked into it or something. But yeah, it's, you know, it's kind of strange that all of the species that are very similar to us engage in gay sex if like it's unnatural for humans to do that.
yeah, I can see. You
Okay.
know, I don't have anything wrong with gay people, to be honest, because
Hey,
they,
based.
yeah, I just I kind of wanted to like challenge the question, and I feel like you pretty much gave me an answer straight up that doesn't really leave me to like question it furthermore. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just more of a societal thing where, you know, we just base things off of labels and stuff like that, and action doesn't really. A lot of people like to talk against gay people just because of action.
Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on up. Appreciate you. Hey, well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Appreciate that he's willing to change his mind and whatnot. That's pretty chill. But hey, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older and make sure that you do think that there's something wrong with being gay. All we have is that one 14-year-old who, I don't know, mods, can you like please block like the person in the guest request box? You know, if you come up here and then I kick you because you're like obviously not 18.
Matter of fact, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
based. But
I
yeah,
got something to say. Like, fuck you do.
yes, yeah. Nope. I don't know, dude. Go say something in your Socratic seminar about to Catcher in the fucking Catcher in the Rye.
We love To Catch Her
tomorrow.
in the Rye.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh,
My favorite book.
I keep stun locking myself. Brutal. But anyway, currently I have nobody in the guest request box. You have to be 18 or older, and you have to think that there's something wrong with being gay. If you don't fit either of those criteria, simply don't request to join. But I would love to debate you. Otherwise I'll have to yap and fill the time. Here's how I'll fill the time. If you wanna learn more about ethics, like for example, the ethical system that I was just talking about, virtue ethics, we're currently doing a reading group in the Discord. It's discord.gg/allegedlyian. We're reading Rosalind Hursthouse's On Virtue Ethics. It's going to be an exciting time. The very first meeting is going to be just the introduction chapter. Make sure you come having read it. It's June 6th. I'd love to see you all on June 6th if you're 18 or older for the book club. It's discord.gg/allegedlyian. It's in my bio. I would absolutely love to see anyone there. I think On Virtue Ethics is a really good book. Currently in the introduction, I'm like rereading back through it. You absolutely can. Rosalind Hursthouse, don't say that you're too stupid to read it. You absolutely could. Rosalind Hursthouse is an extremely clear writer. There are some philosophers that are really bad writers. Rosalind Hursthouse is not one of them. Her words are like exceedingly clear. It's like crystal clear. You can absolutely do that. Right now, in the portion that I've read so far, she's going through like the history of philosophy and specifically the history of ethics, and about how at the time she was writing it, virtue ethics had resurged after having like faded into the background since the time of Aristotle, in favor of more like modern moral philosophies like deontology from Kant, or utilitarianism from John Stuart Mill, and how virtue ethics has made like a resurgence. But I don't know, it's going to be exciting. I still have nobody requesting to join. I might need to switch topics or something. Wouldn't that be sad? It could be, well, that is unusual for the number of viewers.
Isn't it?
Yeah, there should be someone given this many viewers, surely.
Oh.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Yeah, how old are you?
26.
Yep. And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
No. But
Okay.
Well, that was short-lived.
It was. Well, we have another super. Vintage Atheist, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. Just saw that $401 super chat legendary burn. Yeah, that was crazy. Liam really got nuked from orbit with that one. Game Master Flash, thanks so much for the super chat. The first instance actually recorded between humpback whales was 2 males. That's interesting. That is a fun fact. I don't know. Pretty crazy. Maybe I'll hit a reset really quick.
Okay. Wait, before you do that.
Yeah.
Grim, thank you for the $10 on Cash App, beloved. That was very kind.
Whoa.
Okay, go ahead.
Grimlock, thanks so much for the $10 on Cash App for the hydration donation.
Lit.
Sorry, this is awkward. Yeah, let me fill the airtime with something. Banana na 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 na. Banana na 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 na. Banana na 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 na. Where the fuck? Maybe I should swear less. I'm out here swearing like a sailor. Okay, that's pretty lit. Sure, sorry. I'm restarting with a TikTok app right now for all those on YouTube. That's, if there's this awkward time that it's like, wow, Ian feels like Ian's like desperate to fill this awkward period of time You're right. I am. I really wish my live studio would start up just a little bit fucking quicker. How could it be? How could it do this to me? Okay, wait, we're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, we're good. We're starting. Gosh. Spare me. Okay, let me drop that in there. Hello. How was the feminist book club last night? I hope it was good. I don't know. Maybe I'll need to come to one of those at some point. I guess here's something that I could do. I could start throwing together titles for the video that I'm going to post. Okay, excellent, impeccable. Whoa, we have the Down Girl reading group. Oh, that's right, that's right. What an excellent point, Molly. Thanks. Let me do that. That would be real embarrassing. Okay, okay. I think that we should be good. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, I ask that you be 18 or older, and I ask that you have some reason to think that being gay is wrong. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, can you hear me, Ian?
Yeah. How old are you?
It's going okay. I'm 26.
Okay. And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
I want to kind of clarify that. So I don't necessarily think there's something wrong with being gay, but I do think it's okay for society to consider being gay taboo.
Why? Why would you want that?
So, why I'm going to say it like that is kind of because I've been listening to your arguments and kind of like, I agree with you, like that it's not wrong, but that leads me to like certain other like troubling, like logical problems. Like, so you can think about it like a maximally, consensual relationship is like always going to be okay, basically. So like a maximally consensual relationship would be like, you know, obviously they're well above the age of consent. There's no like harmful dynamic, right?
Maybe.
And so the problem that creates for me is like incest stuff. And then like I've heard your argument for incest, but I think like maybe my kind of defeater to that is like, well, what if it happens on a desert island, right? Then is it incest permissible because they're away from society and they're presumably never going to return? And that troubles me.
Yeah,
Right?
I guess I don't think, well, so that's like an interesting point, but I think that you could stay consistent and say no, that wouldn't be fine for the exact same reason that you have like a familial relationship to this person, that like in the relationships that you have in your human life, that there's like a very unique potential for this relationship, like the relationship with like just family members, like people you're related to, that you have different obligations towards your siblings than you do towards your spouse. You have different obligations to your children than you do towards your spouse. You have different obligations towards your cousins than you do towards your spouse. And these obligations interfere with each other. It's just like it lowers the potential for your living a good life, which I think is the kind of like the standard of value, is whether or not the life that you live is one that's like rationally successful.
I think I generally kind of agree with you, but I think the reason those different obligations exist, at least when it comes to familial romantic relationships, like an incest type situation, is because of the negative and harmful impacts it can have on society or on the child if a child is born by that relationship. But in the desert island example, that doesn't exist. Like, for example, like two male cousins or two female cousins. They're away from society and presumably they'll never return. So their relationship will never impact society and how that familial bond is kind of supposed to be in an idealistic way.
Yeah, this is just kind of not responsive to the reason why I said that it was wrong. But also, I mean, if you're saying that it's wrong to be gay because of the effect that it has on society, but then your
No,
reason why is because it's going to lead to us being accepting of incest. But then I'm giving you a reason for why incest is wrong, and you're saying, well, if we moved away from society, then that reason would no longer exist. It just kind of seems like you want to talk about incest rather than like being gay.
I want to clarify. So I don't think it's wrong to be gay, and I wanted that's why I said I think it's okay for society to consider it taboo. And so the reason, basically because if okay, so let me just start with why I'm talking about it like this. So I think that if it isn't, then it leads to other troubling logical conclusions.
Why does it
and that's why I was
that?
Because I think if maybe we can call them like abnormal, I guess. If the only thing that matters in a romantic relationship is that it's maximally consensual.
It's not. I don't agree with that.
I think that's kind of what it deduces down. Okay, where am I going wrong here then?
So what I think that your relationship needs to be is that it needs to be in line with like virtues. So if the relationship is in line with the core virtues, then it's permissible. And that still prevents you from like lots of relationships that are considered like consensual. Like, I don't think you should be having bad sex. I think you owe it to yourself to not be having bad sex. And the virtue that having like lots and lots of specifically bad sex would be in violation of is temperance. That, you know, if you're sleeping with people every single night in a way that like the sex itself is like just awful because you're settling for like the bottom shelf of people, I think you should probably reevaluate that because you're just not enjoying sex in a way that like treats things with its proper value.
Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that I will totally concede the first part of my argument, and so then maybe I'll talk about like why I think it's okay for like abnormal, and I don't mean abnormal in a like a rude way, like just like maybe we can call them like non-straight like relationships to be taboo in a sense. Is because I think like society should push the most amount of people towards the most successful path. Because when like on a large scale, when you're dealing with populations, I think it makes sense to push people to what kind of is tried and true. And so maybe the example for this is like, it's okay for some people to be traveling musicians. Some people can lead a good life as a traveling musician and have success financially or with their career and be happy. But, you know, I think it would probably not be successful for a large percentage of people if like 10,000 people tried to lead a life as a traveling musician.
Yeah.
And so I think like for the same reason, like, you know, there's other things like maybe like BDSM relationships. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that. Like it's not immoral to have a consensual BDSM relationship with your partner, but you know, I don't necessarily think that when we're talking about large populations that this should be something that's front and center. So I think that, for example, like what this doesn't mean that it's okay to treat a gay individual in a like disrespectfully or in a way that subjects them to some like punishment or something like that. That's absolutely not what I'm suggesting.
So
What I am suggesting, sorry, yeah, you go ahead.
yeah, just to interject really quick, I think the traveling musician example is probably disanalogous from being gay. I think there's like kind of two features that would make me think that. The first is that the traveling musician, unlike the gay person, can just go do something else. Like, you could go work at Whataburger or something. You could get like a job that you'll be successful at. People have like the ability to make that choice. Like gay people, they can't choose to not be gay. But additionally, like the second part is that traveling musicians, like it's very likely that you'll fail if you try to pursue music, unless you have like a very established career already, or like industry connections, or like some unique factor that would favor being a traveling musician. I don't think that being gay leads to like a high chance that your life is going to go bad. So I'm not really sure why we would want to like discourage people from being that if they are.
So so I think your argument there makes a lot of sense. And I want to clarify that I'm not suggesting that gay people should be discouraged from continuing to being gay. So what I am saying is something like a child or a juvenile person who is maybe figuring all this stuff out. I think that society should encourage them through the path of least resistance, which is kind of the tried and true way. And so if that person, maybe when they're, coming into adulthood or something like that, they say, you know what, actually, I am gay. I don't think that person should be subjected to any negative, like they should be treated well and fine by the society. All that I'm saying is that it should be taboo in the same way that like a sex shop should have to have frosted windows, because the BDSM relationship, although moral, should not be presented like, you know what I mean? Like, and I agree with the, what you were saying about the traveling musician of the choice stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is more that this, like, when we're dealing with broad populations, the society should push people down this kind of tried and true path. If they stray, that's okay. But like, that's why we have certain, like, being a traveling musician might be taboo in the same way gayness is.
Wait, okay. I think I'm a bit confused. So what's your specific prescription for like what we should do? When you say like we should push them down this path, like what does that actually look like?
What that might actually look like is, let's say you're a parent and you have a young child, and Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
And so maybe you give your child, Hershey's Kisses and say, give these to let's say your child is a boy, and you say, give these Hershey's Kisses to the girls in your class that you want to be your Valentine or something like that. Like I'm saying, and maybe like, sex education should focus on safe sex. Obviously, okay, maybe I'm straying away. Like, let's just focus on the Hershey's Kiss thing. That's kind of what I'm saying.
So I don't want to, I know that this word has like a lot of like baggage to it, but are you basically saying like we should just like do heteronormativity?
Yeah, actually, yes. I am saying we should do heteronormativity. And if people then say, you know what, I'm putting my hand up, I'm, father or mother, I'm coming out to you, I'm gay, that should be perfectly acceptable. But I'm saying that it is okay for society to be heteronormative. And like, that's kind of what I mean by gayness as taboo.
So, okay.
This harms gay people.
Yeah.
Very much so. When you have, let's go back to the situation that you presented previously with a BDSM shop having the windows frosted, right? This implies that the things inside of that shop are hidden, so that when the general public walks by, they don't have to see it unless they choose to, right? The difference here is that when it comes to seeing sexual things, this is something that you have to consent to. So these things being frosted, that's fine, right? But the idea that society would have to consent to a gay person just existing is something that puts them on the margins. The issue with this is that it leads to outcomes like poor mental health, or even to the point of maybe queer people unaliving themselves. As a queer person, myself, pan specifically, society treating queerness as a taboo has done nothing but harm me. Maybe this is fine for straight people because they don't have to worry about my existence, but unfortunately I do. So
Okay, I totally hear your point, and I do think that you like certainly there's credibility to the fact that gay or queer or trans people have been harmed by society in these kind of ways. I think what I was really trying to clarify is that individually, people who are gay or are lesbian or bisexual or whatever it should be inappropriate for them to be mistreated on that fact. And I think I was fairly clear in clarifying that. I think that if a father or if a mother or if a teacher or if whoever, police officer or whatever, mistreats a person on the basis of their sexuality or their gender or whatever, that should be seen as that is inappropriate. That's bullying or whatever. It is inappropriate.
Don't you think this is going to cause lots of anguish in the lives of gay people? That
That's
as
what I'm
they're
saying.
figuring out their identity, this is going to be really confusing because gay people, the existence of gay people isn't presented, and it's you'd have to go against the way that people have been talking about you your entire life. It just seems like this would cause a whole bunch of mental strife.
We actually can already see how this affects us, so I don't even know why you'd want to continue the society in which we've already done this. We push heteronormativity, we still do. We have people who compulsively become heterosexual and then come out later in marriages, and that they wouldn't have had to do that if they had the emotional literacy to say that I've been gay or this explains this. I just also the word taboo has a negative connotation, so you even latching on to heteronormativity and taboo and acting like you don't want any negativity to it is really odd, because that just doesn't really make any sense. Both of those things are negative. You can't really say I don't want negativity from it when those things literally systematically cause harm.
Also, just to to Broncos fan Jay in the comment section, you should hop in the guest request, little bud. I'll shatter your ankles like you were Bo Nix.
I think so I think here I am totally willing to agree that insofar as people are harmed by whatever the suggestion that I'm making, then I would say that I'm wrong in that part. I definitely would not be my desire for anybody to be harmed, be it anguish or self-harm or some sort of strife, and that's not what I'm trying to suggest at all. And maybe I need to do some more thinking about this, and maybe I have some things I haven't considered. But I think, for example, I don't know, because doesn't there become a bit of a tricky thing with how much is enough, even if we were to say okay, we should have a maximally accepting culture and society, then what does that really look like? Because isn't there always going to be at least one subject who feels that the society has not done enough for their specific concern? You know what I mean? If I'm the intersecting, disabled, queer, transgender, multiracial person, then it might be very unlikely that I get my specific day or something like that, or that my specific concern is addressed in sex ed day or something like that. And then doesn't it become very because there's a lot of different options here, and a lot of different where you can have one of one and another of another, and doesn't it become very difficult to have a perfect balance like that?
Well, no, because your initial suggestion was to treat queerness as a taboo, now you're going from treating queerness as a taboo to, well, if we don't treat queerness as a taboo, then everyone's gonna have to accept the liberal stereotype, because that's what you named, by the way. Like, you know, what do we do with things that are taboo? We ostracize them. We treat them like things to be stuffed away into the closet, no pun intended. So I don't understand. You're saying like if we don't treat people like shit, because I know you're saying that's not what you're saying, but that is what you're saying though. If we don't treat queer people like shit, then now the queer people are gonna keep demanding more and more and more and more. But when what queer people are demanding are to be treated as equals, I think we can leave it there, no?
I think but I think I was also suggesting that they should be treated as equals. I think
That's not
maybe
what
my
taboo
question,
implies, though.
okay. I mean, maybe perhaps we have a different understanding of what that means. I was just suggesting that like society in general should push or should encourage young people down the path of least resistance. But I think I was very clear in qualifying that, like, you know, if somebody chooses to step off that path, that's perfectly acceptable.
Well, but
Um,
wait, it's only the path of least resistance because of things like heteronormativity. You're saying we need
Right.
heteronormativity to make sure that people go down the path of least resistance, which is being straight, and that's made the path of least resistance because of heteronormativity. You know, I debate religion quite frequently, and
mhm.
to me, this sounds like people saying like God made hell to torture you infinitely as a punishment for the crime that you did that had the harm of getting yourself sent to hell where you'd get tortured infinitely. Like it seems like if you just removed the hell, then kind of the problem would go away. And similarly, like if you removed like the heteronormativity, kind of the problem would go away.
That's an interesting argument.
Can we please
Okay,
define
I
taboo
think
real quick, please?
Taboo does have a negative connotation. Like I'm confused as to how you didn't put that there. It always has.
sure. Okay. When I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about like kind of what I was suggesting is like that the like in my example of the parent and the young child who is going to school on Valentine's Day. All what I was suggesting is that the child should like if it's a male child or a female child or something like that, then the parent can go, you know, oh, here's some Hershey's Kisses, give you know, give some Hershey's Kisses to whoever you want to be your Valentine, like from the, you know, the girls in your class or the boys in your class.
Why would you add the extra bit? Why not just say, go give this to whoever you want to be your Valentine?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I like I don't think it would be wrong to do that. Um I think that's very fair. I think maybe like I don't know, part of what is like do you think the sex shop windows should be frosted? Maybe let's put it to that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I probably do.
and so
Gosh, it's hard
why,
for me to
right?
think
Like
of
isn't
like,
that tricky? Like
well, no, I think that that's like pretty straightforward, which is just, I think that like in general, you should like one of the things that I consider is that if you have the ability to not, I don't know, like upset large groups of people, you should probably do it if it wouldn't come at like some huge cost to yourself. So I think that that's true of like the sex shop. It's not like kids are allowed in there anyway, nor should they be. Um, and I don't think that it comes to like a huge cost to yourself to like frost the windows, but it does, you know, spare like a lot of like anguish of people looking in there and seeing like some freaky shit, you know.
yeah, and I think that that's all that I'm suggesting. Like if the analogy is between like maybe like um like a queer or gay or something like that, sexual choice and the sex shop, I think that in both examples, it's okay to step into that. It's okay to make that decision, or to say this is part of my life. It's who I am.
But being queer
Because
is not a sexual choice.
so yeah, sorry. Like I maybe like I totally accept that it's not a choice. It's
Also not
hard. Like
sexual.
I'm okay. I think like romance. So let
Come on,
me
that can't be
yeah.
true. You
I
come
think it
on,
totally
don't do
is.
that.
Like,
Don't say that. That's
don't you think like
you
if
seem
okay,
sharper
so
than the rest of them. You know that this is like a bad point. Don't bite that bullet.
I'm gonna bite. So okay, so like let's imagine
Do you think
you're
that do you think that when you
whole,
say go and give these to whatever girl or like whatever person and have them be your Valentine, when you tell your 4th grade child to go do that, are you
Rude.
telling them to engage in a sex act?
no, perhaps not, but I think it is maybe like
Is that romantic?
proto-sexual. It's like it's courting. Yes, I think it is.
You
So
think
Isn't courtship romantic?
here, let me yes, I think it is. I think it is. So for example,
come
like
on,
I
you don't
can
want to do
remember
this.
let me think, let me talk. So okay, so I think there's an experience that like I can remember that I think is probably fairly universal, where like you're on the school bus as someone who's like just going through the puberty kind of age, like when I was in middle school, and like a pretty girl that I liked, we held hands, and it, you know, it makes your heartbeat increase. It's like these, I think that is romantic, and I think it's I think that you're maybe taking away from some of the finer points of that to say that these things are completely not romantic
So
at
you'd say,
all.
well, wait, but
For
so you'd also, so we agree
No.
that they're romantic. We reject that
Right.
romantic
You
implies
said
sexual.
exactly.
I think
And if
that the
it does, then that
two
means that you are encouraging children in your analogy to engage in what is essentially a sexual act,
Well,
which is
also
not a bullet you want to
you'd be
bite.
erasing asexual people, because asexual people can be purely aromantic and have no sexual desire, but in your worldview, every romantic decision they make would have to be inherently also sexual, because you don't divorce them.
Okay, that's the point about asexual people. I think is really, really tricky for my view, and I'm really just not prepared to. I think I don't have something for that, but I think what I'm suggesting maybe is that these sort of, I would say that romance is maybe like proto-sexual or something like that. That these things are tied in a way that can't be untied. For example, it would be if somebody told you I had a very romantic evening with my father, that would be inappropriate, because I think it's tied, even in your own mind, to sexuality. And so I think if you say it's not tied at all, then you must also be able to say it would be acceptable to have a romantic evening with, you know, your father or something like that, right?
So, okay, I don't think that follows. I think that like a distinction between relationships that are familial in nature versus relations that are like romantic in nature, where like a romantic relation is specifically one where you and the other person are like planning on like building your lives together as equals or like something kind of in that ballpark. I don't know. It's hard to hammer out the exact specifics, but
But like even what you're
it's but
suggesting there
the
sounds a
reason
lot
why
like
that would be
marriage.
well, yeah, I
It sounds
agree.
a lot
That's an
like
example.
partnership,
Yeah, yeah,
which is sexual,
romance.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. For example, if you're asexual, then that's not going to happen. But so, in for like the father example, I think the other thing there is that that implies like a really problematic dynamic. You know, if somebody said, well, okay, I used to not know. I used to think that like the daddy daughter dance was, you know, like you take your daughter to a dance, then you like dance with them. And you know, I thought that's like kind of weird, but it's like maybe fine. But I mean, I learned recently that it's like way more innocuous than that. That what it actually sounds like is like you bring your like 4-year-old to a dance, and then they like jump around with their friends on like the dance floor, and you like sit and talk to the other dads. But you know, that's you know, nevertheless. So I don't know. I think that if somebody said that they had a romantic evening with their father, I'd probably come to the conclusion that there's
Like
problematic dynamics there.
okay, I think that makes sense. So maybe okay, what about the concept of, because I think what you're saying is you're you're untying, or you're trying to separate romantic things which from sexual things. And so I think but I think these two are distinctly tied. And so maybe a point that I'll make is like, if you've like heard of the concept of like bedroom eyes, or like like a knowing look between two romantic partners, which is implying some incoming like sexual encounter, or like a kiss or something like that, which is more sexual. I think that there are things which are like, I would say that romance and sexuality are distinctly tied in a way that can't be untied. Perhaps only in the example of the asexual person, which I do not have an argument for.
Well, that's
and I
yeah.
would say that romance could be basically just renamed to like proto-sexual or something like that.
Well,
Wait.
the common trait that you're picking out between romance and sexual, like the example you gave earlier, that your heart is racing when you hold the girl's hand on the bus. I think the trait that you're pointing towards is exciting. I think that that's the thing that romance shares in common with like sexual stuff, is that they're both very exciting and like intimate. But
I think what's also important too is like libidos when it comes to relationships. Like even irrelevant of like asexual people, some people do romantic gifts not for sexual pleasure in the slightest. Just for the fact of wanting to keep the romance alive in relationships. It's just going to be dependent on the relationship too. But I think so many people just do romantic ideas because they want to do romantic ideas. For example, like if you are proposing to somebody, like I don't think that your end goal should be we're going to have sex after this. I think your end goal is you want to have a beautiful like the way in which you propose to somebody, you want it to be romantic and beautiful. That's not inherently sexual.
I think that's fair, but I think so if we think about two gifts, one is a romantic gift and one is just a gift, I think what separates that is the partnership between the gift giver and the gift receiver. One is a partnership which is inherently romantic, and I would argue inherently sexual. And the other, there is no inherent romantic partnership or romantic sexuality. Would you maybe disagree with that?
Yeah. And this is especially bad for the case that you brought up earlier, because if this is the case, then those fourth graders are engaging in a sexual act.
I think they are. Like I think I think it's just it's like proto. It's like
actions.
So I agree. I agree. I think, but they're at the end of the day, they're humans. They're eventually they will. Like I'm not suggesting that
I don't want to smother you up here, but you would say then that when somebody says go give this Hershey's kiss to your crush or whatever, it's like their fourth grader, you think that that person is encouraging their kid to engage in a sex act?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I think so. I'm separate. So what I'm suggesting is that you're encouraging the kid to do something romantic,
which you think is
for
sexual.
Another kid. I think the two are tied in a way that can't be untied. But I think, for example, in a kid like that, there is no it's something that will become that later in life, but it doesn't exist yet.
Well, I mean, I agree that it's not sexual in like fourth grade, but that you as the parent, if what you're saying is that romance is inherently sexual, or maybe like, well, yeah, that seems to be what you're saying, is that romance is inherently sexual, then if you're encouraging your kid to do something that you think is romantic, you would need to say that you're encouraging them to do something that's sexual, but that's like obviously not true. Like, frankly, like, okay, we've talked to some pretty dumb people so far. You seem to be the smartest. You're saying something that's like very stupid. It's just false. Like it's obviously false. And I think you know that it's false. You don't want to, I don't know. You can just say that you don't know if you think that it's like
Okay. I take your point. What do you think about this? So like I think the example you're giving is the same as saying, okay, so oh, a parent notices that their kid is beginning to start puberty, and so they begin focusing more on like making sure they're getting healthy meals because the child is, for example, also going through a growth spurt.
Mhm.
So but you're also a component of puberty is that they're becoming like their sexual organs are changing, right? So like I think you're like the parent isn't feeding the kid so that the kid can have sex or like or have these sexual organs. It's so that they can go through a healthy part of growth. And I'm suggesting the same thing with the Hershey's Kiss, where the proto romance kind of thing will healthily grow into something which is inherently sexual.
So,
But
okay.
I'm not suggesting it's the same.
Yeah. Well, so here to me is like, well, I think you kind of have to if you're saying that romance is inherently sexual. I'm not sure how you could avoid that. It kind of seems like there's no way to avoid the idea that if what you commit yourself to is romance is inherently sexual, and a parent saying, "Hey, go give this to your crush on Valentine's Day in 4th grade," that's like a romantic act that you're encouraging them to do, then you would need to say that you're encouraging them to do an act that's sexual. Otherwise, you would need to de-link things like romance and sexuality. The reason why I don't think that's analogous to like parents feeding their children is because I think that the parent can feed the child without it being like inherently linked to some sort of like specific sexual action. Like it's true that when you as a parent feed your child through the growth spurt, that they're going to grow and like several years in the future when they're like 25 or I don't know, like 20, they'll be having sex. And you know, you did indeed, you are in the causal chain there. But I just don't think that the parent is like thinking about that. And I also think that you're so many steps disconnected in the causal chain in terms of like what you're encouraging them to do that like that can't, it's obviously not like a sex act to like feed your kid. Even if there's like 20 years or even if there's like 10 years in the future where you feeding your kid will lead to them having sex.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Mhm. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think it's been it's been nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of your stuff. I'm a big fan.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Well, I mean, at least I was able to somebody in my comments, somebody in like my YouTube comments yesterday made this point and it was really, really good. Shout out to that person that for a lot of the people in this conversation, they'll bite like some pretty crazy bullets. And probably what I should just say at that point is that's stupid. Like I should just point it out to them. Like that's dumb. You said a dumb thing. And that doesn't make you a dumb person, but you said a dumb thing. You like it's okay to say I don't know to a thing like that.
I don't disagree. If anything, I think that should have started at the taboo thing. Because, like, I know I'm not tripping when I think the word taboo is, as AG said, negative connotation. It's not even the connotation. The fucking word is negative.
The
I looked it up.
definition is negative, right?
A
Oh, well,
strong
yeah.
social or cultural prohibition that forbids discussing, touching, or doing something because it's considered offensive, sacred, or unacceptable. So you think queerness being viewed as offensive or unacceptable is fine, but also we should treat them with kindness, ? What?
Yeah, a bit
Those kind of
unclear.
contradict each other.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Bradley Ray Troxel, thanks so much for the super chat. I'm brand new to ethical systems. Do you think there's inherent flaws or something wrong with consequentialism or deontology? I think that there's cases that they in pure forms, I think there are cases that they struggle to accommodate. Here's a case that I think gives compelling reason to think that virtue ethics is true. Let's say that you're traveling through the woods with your kids and your dog, and you get lost in the woods. There's a huge storm that rolls in, and it becomes apparent that you're going to need to like kill, cook, and eat your dog if you and your kids are going to survive. I think you probably have an obligation to do that, but I think I think you should feel horrible about doing that. I think that should be like an agonizing experience for you. And if you take pleasure in the process of like killing your dog, I think that you've done something like pretty seriously wrong. I think that there's like something like deeply wrong with you if you're like excited to do that, or if you're happy to do that, or if that like satisfies your desires, if that fulfills like whatever utilitarian criteria. And then I also just don't think that deontology is able to account for a thing like that. I think only virtue ethics, with its focus on things like the type of person you are, is able to account for why you have an obligation to feel horrible about doing an action like that in a tragic set of circumstances, which is that you realize that this is like a very valuable creature that you're killing, and that's like this is like a horrible tragedy. I think virtue ethics can accommodate for that. I'm not sure that other moral systems are able to accommodate for that. Pork Ramen, thanks so much for the super chat. Welcome as a cool Corey. Happy to see you here. Mike Bowen, thanks so much for the super chat. This topic really brings out the clowns. That's true. I don't know. It's like I don't know. Typically, it's like a lot of like the really, really, really dumb people. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. This guy's very polite and all, but I think he's got a sort of dangerous, keep it silent and invisible mentality, and I think he needs to realize this is inherently dehumanizing. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's I don't know, it's like really super harmful, and you shouldn't do that. Grimmy, thanks so much for the super chat. I swear I hear the arguments about children being exposed to informative information, like children aren't allowed to self-reflect and evaluate information themselves. That's true. I don't know. That's because there's like for sure things that I don't think children should have access to. There's like for sure like images or like videos or things like that, maybe even information that I don't think kids should have access to. But then there like for sure is stuff that I think would be like fine. Like I don't have a problem if a kid is like Googling at the age of 14, like how do I know that if I'm gay, if they're having like confusing feelings. That's I don't know. It's I think I probably agree. Relax with Russell ASMR. Thanks so much for the super chat. Hate the word games they play to pretend they don't have bigoted views. I'm not saying it should be discouraged, but it should be taboo. Like by definition, taboo means discourage, if not restrict. Yeah, that's true. Grimmy, thanks so much for the super chat. The path of least resistance is give them the information and let them sort that out. Withholding information makes it the path of resistance. True. I agree. Squirrel Knitter, thanks so much for the super chat. The sex shop is age inappropriate for kids. The existence of gay people is not. That's true. That's a good point. Okay, let's go to the very next guest. If you're in that guest request box, you gotta be 18 or older. You gotta think that there's something wrong with being gay, and with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Yep, doing well. How old are you?
I am 35.
Yep. And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Gay? I do, but not morally.
In what sense do you think that it's wrong?
So I'm going to debate you from a scientific aspect.
Okay. So wrong is kind of like an intrinsically like what's called normative, which means that it's like reasons. It's like reasons giving. When you say something's wrong, basically what you're saying is that people have reasons to not do it. Do you think gay people have reasons to not engage in gay behavior?
No, absolutely. You're born gay. It's not something you can help. My belief is that it's more of a disease, kind of like depression, something like that.
So what makes something a disease typically is that it's like harmful. That's the criteria.
And it is absolutely from a what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional standpoint, for especially in those, early childhood, young adult years.
Inherently, do you think it's inherently harmful?
Inherently, yes, I would say so. To the person experiencing it.
Okay. Yeah.
It
What's
does
the
not
inherent
harm those around them. It harms the individual.
Okay. What's the harm?
Mostly emotional.
Like what?
It can lead to severe depression, bullying, assaults in extreme cases.
I'm not sure
Is
how.
it wrong
I'm
to be
sure
disabled if people are gonna bully me for it?
I know I have several friends who are, some form of sexual affiliation other than heterosexual.
Fuck.
That's
And
nothing with what I just said.
they have been bullied their entire lives.
Okay.
Right.
So
Is
are
it
lots of
wrong for me
people.
to be disabled because it will lead to me being bullied?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Is it wrong for me to be disabled if it will lead to me being bullied?
Absolutely not. And it's not
Oh.
morally wrong. It's not something you can help.
But is it wrong
So
in the same
it's
sense when you say
scientifically wrong, quote
yeah.
unquote, for me to be disabled
Right.
because it'll
Now,
lead
let me
me being
counter with
bullied.
this. If we could cure a
Wait,
disabled
sorry, that
person,
was
should
just,
we?
it was just like a yes or no question. Do you think that there's something wrong in the same sense?
I mean, in the sense, if it could be corrected, then we have a moral obligation too.
You
Eugenics.
We
That-
have a moral obligation to make me not autistic. Is that what you're saying right now?
If we could, then yes, we should.
But I don't
you're-
want to be.
We should
but I
help
don't
you
wa-
if you want to help.
But I don't.
bro. Every
I don't want that. I just want society, and I'm sure Sam would agree, society to help not be so fucking annoying.
And I get that. And I can, yeah, I mean,
But
my
what if,
thing
yeah,
is,
what if the disabled person doesn't want to not be disabled? And what if the gay person doesn't want to not be gay?
I mean, if you're happy, then by all means.
Okay, would there be something wrong in that circumstance?
Would it change the fact that it's still a disability? No.
Sure, in the case of like the disability. I mean, that's not really what I'm asking. I'm asking, would there be something wrong with it in the sense that you're saying?
I might have missed your original question.
Okay. Do you think if somebody is disabled but they're like they don't want to get rid of it, like I don't know, say that they're like autistic but they're happy being autistic, do you think that there would be like something wrong with that?
I mean, I'm a firm believer in to each their own.
That's clear. That's like obviously not true.
How so?
You're
Necessarily, it's not.
You're like
you're making a
defend yeah.
prescription.
You're like you're saying that that there's like something wrong with it.
Okay, maybe let's go backward a little bit, right?
Yeah, let's back up. So
Right.
maybe I should say from an evolutionary standpoint. Maybe that's a better way.
But there
this
are
is-
You are a firm believer in evolution.
I am. Yeah, the firmest.
And at its very core, what is the purpose of sex?
I don't ascribe like purpose language. I think purposes come from like agents. I think that you need to be some sort of agent that takes actions in the world in order for purposes to be a thing that exist. I think body parts have functions. I think that there are different things that they can do. They have like the powers to do specific things. I don't think that they have a purpose absent like some sort of agent that's directing them towards a purpose.
Okay, so you don't feel that sperm cells and egg cells have a purpose?
No, I don't think that biology has purposes. I think that they have functions. I think that they have, for example, the function of, I don't know, penetrating the egg and then fertilizing it and then, developing. I think that that's like one of the functions that it has.
What else would it do?
Provide like a great feeling of enjoyment, getting like swallowed by a person is another function
getting
that it can
crusty
have.
in a sock or something.
True.
Those with breeding kinks, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, can't forget about that one.
So that is my my statement, though, is that it is for lack of a better way to say it, evolutionary mutation.
Well, so
And I
it's
know
like an
you're going to pick at me
evolutionary.
on semantics there,
No,
but that's the best
not
way I know to
even.
put it in words right
Not
now.
even. It's an evolutionary advantage. So, okay, think about this. A human child, a lot of other animals, their children develop really quickly. Their children reach
Absolutely.
like peak maturity by like the age of 3 or something. Humans, it
Absolutely.
takes till I don't know. We're
25.
going, yeah, to like 25. It takes for us to develop into like fully mature adults when we're like basically done growing. It's a huge resource investment. And then at that point, if they themselves have more kids, then their kids are going to be a huge resource sink. But let's say if you're having lots of kids, some of your kids won't have more kids. Let's say that, if you have like some number of kids, it becomes more and more likely that they start being gay. Well, then you're gonna have all of these kids, so the future generation is insured, and then you also have these additional kids that don't overpopulate you, but they just contribute resources to the community. Wouldn't that be like a huge evolutionary advantage?
I don't know evolutionary, but economically, yes.
Yeah, well, so economics in this sense, like there's gonna be, gosh, not to use proto, but you know, like there's gonna be like a proto economy, or probably not even, just like a proto, like there's gonna be combined resources if there's like a group of humans that are living together. And a gay person is going to contribute resources to the community without having children that suck resources away from the community.
I mean, gay people are a huge bonus to many communities.
They also, gay couples pay more taxes than straight couples, for example.
On average, I would say probably higher income earners.
Yep.
It's just my contention is solely that several individuals who are gay have suffered mentally from it because of the way they're treated by others.
Same thing's true of straight people. Have you ever heard how sad like a breakup song is? These motherfuckers are not okay.
Yeah, but all people with the well, no, I won't even say that. So all people experience that. If you've ever been in a relationship that ended, then and you were not the one who ended it, then you've probably experienced that heartbreak.
Yeah. I mean, I there's just gonna be mentally ill people in like every group.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna go as far as to say it's a mental illness, but I mean, if we're speaking purely scientific, it is
Didn't you
something
say it's a disease?
Yeah, but I mean, that's I mean, we define heroin addiction as a disease. You don't go outside and catch addicted to heroin.
So,
It's-
okay, even if that's true, I'm not sure why I would categorize like being gay in like the same category.
Yeah, the contagion is not the issue. It's the categorization itself, or the lack thereof of contagion. Like the fact that you can't catch it is not the problem. It's the fact that we're calling it a disease. That's the problem.
Yeah, so a disease by definition, let me define the term. Any condition that causes just that dis-ease, either physically or emotionally.
So,
And how is
you know, for
being
example,
gay
like
on its
when I came home and I got like a D on my math test and upset my mom, that was like a disease?
True.
Well, that's not a condition. That's an event.
Okay, so just any sort of, and by condition, you just mean like something that's like long term?
Something that is you are experiencing that you is a part of who you are. So condition would be like
Experiencing-
disabled. You know,
Sure. So
Black?
something.
would black be a condition?
Yeah,
In like a society
treated
where people are.
Well,
being
no, that's your
black and
race.
but I get treated poorly for it, and it is ongoing.
And it causes like dis-ease.
Yeah. So is
I
being
mean,
black
I feel like you know that they're not on the same parallel.
Well, they are.
I mean, it does fit on like it fits with the definition that you're providing. Like if you're just saying like something that is like your identity that causes disease. Well, if you're a black person in a country where people treat you really weirdly because of that, and really badly because of that, then it seems like that would qualify. I don't see how you could get out of saying that being black is a disease.
Yeah, especially if you have gay and disabled on that level. All of these are intersections of marginalization. Why is black different?
You can just
Bear with me
say,
1 second.
don't-
Let me formulate.
yeah,
a
that's okay.
response.
You know, it's okay. What I think you've committed yourself, you know, I'm getting into the habit. I'm not saying that you're a stupid person, but I am saying that you've committed yourself to stupid things, and it's totally fine to, I don't know, say that you don't know and say that you need to like think about it more or something.
Well, you know, and here's the thing, man. If we're being honest, you know, I've wanted to debate you on religion for a long time, and I finally just got on the show and needed something to say.
You should come back tomorrow then. I'll debate religion tomorrow.
Like, I love gay people, man. I really do. Like, I really just wanted to be on the show.
Okay, well, Tyler, come back tomorrow.
That was a choice.
It was, yeah. Squirrel Knitter, thanks so much for the super chat. I was bullied for getting a girl. Should I stop being or oh, sorry. I was bullied for being a girl. Should I stop being a girl? It can be corrected. True. Yeah,
Correction is crazy.
being a woman is a disease under the previous criteria. Mr. Peiko, thanks so much for the super chat. I thought this would be a lighthearted romp through color, not understanding what scientifically wrong meant, and we went from 0 to eugenics so fast. I'm sure we violated special relativity somewhere. That's good. That's a funny one. Oh no, AG got like Thanos snapped out of existence or something. What the fuck?
SD, no.
But let's get a big W for Mr. Peiko. Yeah, it really did. Yeah, he really said gas pedal. True. John Klein, thanks so much for the super chat. The cool Corey subscription. I like being my gay self. That's great. Big W for John. I appreciate you. Helping MAGA deconstruct. Thanks so much for the super chat. When did Nazi talking points become okay in society? I don't know, man. People just bite the fucking craziest bullets. Like, I don't even think they believe it. I just think that they get kind of like forced into it. And then they don't know when to say, you're right, that is stupid. And then they just keep on fucking pushing forward for some reason. All right, let's go to the next guest.
How's it going?
Hey, going well. How old are you?
Good. I'm 19.
And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Yes, but subjectively.
Okay. So do you think that there's any reason why a gay person would have to not be gay or like to not engage in like gay activities?
No, not necessarily. If you don't mind, I'd like to piggyback off of the taboo guest. If that's okay.
Maybe like okay. Where do we disagree? Do we disagree about something related to gay people?
Yeah, because I would say that, when he was talking about it being taboo, I would just like to find that middle line, kind of in the space of social ambiguity.
Like kind of taboo.
Yeah.
Why? Why would we do that?
Well, the stance I'm kind of taking is, would everyone being gay be better for society?
So I'll direct answer first. No, I don't think so. I don't think if everyone was gay, society would be a better place. Now, the problem is that we can run a parody argument of this. If everyone was a software engineer, would society be a better place?
No.
Yeah. Does that mean that we should make being a software engineer like a little bit taboo?
No.
Exactly, right? So what's the difference between being a software engineer and being gay that justifies why being gay should be considered a little bit taboo, but being a software engineer shouldn't?
Sure. And I guess for me, I would take the stance of, just how you guys maybe get a little bit of an ick when you hear someone is Christian, or maybe, I don't know for sure.
No?
But no, you don't.
Nope.
You don't think of them any differently, even just.
No, I'm like curious. Like I want to hear about their
Okay.
like denomination and whatnot.
Sure, for sure. Because I will say that is kind of, I can't force this on you, of course, but we all make slight, subtle judgments when we first meet a person, when they're talking, what they're saying. And I think that's kind of necessary to the human experience in the first place. So when I talk about it being, kind of taboo, it's more in the stance of, there is a gay community that exists. There is a Christian community that exists. There is someone who doesn't, necessarily go to either side or whatnot. Does that kind of make sense?
Not really. I'm a bit unclear to the point. Like why? So
Yeah, I
are you
didn't really explain
saying
it very
with
well.
respect to like gay people, you're saying like we should feel like disgusted by it?
No, I'm just saying that the Christian person is going to have all these opinions from this, ideology that they or have been, whether it is indoctrinized or simply just whatever it is. And then the gay community is also going to have all these opinions on this, and just all this back and forth only just creates more discord, and it doesn't actually get to anything truthful. It really just gets to
Mhm.
chaos, in
Well,
my
I think
opinion.
if people have unfounded biases, that they should probably get rid of them, no matter who you are. I think that something that's important is
Sure.
recognizing, like the actual reality of I don't know, other groups, like what sort of
Yeah.
people they are, and then if you're holding on to biases that you're not justified in holding on to, you
Yeah.
should probably discard those biases.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
Okay. Wait, so what do we disagree on? I'm confused.
So I think we disagree with it being. I mean, I guess I kind of hold a not very controversial stance, which is kind of the problem per se, or lack thereof of problem, is that it's not, it's taboo or kind of taboo to the majority. Because is the majority of society straight or gay? I don't actually know.
They're straight, like by a
Okay.
long shot.
And that's simply just
Kyler, there's
because,
you must know that, Kyler.
I just wanted to clarify. I don't know the stat, so I'm not gonna like say the stat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But just because the majority is straight, then it is, just the reality that we live in, that it is kind of, more ambiguous.
But the problem is that you shouldn't hold biases against, like, a group of people just because of their identities. Like, you shouldn't feel
Mhm.
weird if you feel weird meeting somebody who has, like, red hair, for example, that's
Yeah,
probably a you problem. I don't think you should feel
for
weird about
sure.
that. I might agree with you descriptively that people get cagey when they meet people of different identities,
Yeah,
um, but you shouldn't. And if you
for sure.
do, you're living your life wrong. Like, you're just doing things that are unjustified.
Yeah, and there's definitely, judgments that come out all the time. Like I do think that this is a kind of a key point of my argument is that we do judge people, whether that is a negative judgment, a positive judgment, just in general,
Mhm, I agree.
when we first look at awesome. So when that happens, it's, not necessarily that there's something wrong with us. It's more that that is just how we've oriented ourselves as a society. Does
Don't
that
you
kind
think
of
it
make
depends on
sense?
the judgment?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that there are some judgments that you can make about a person that are reasonable upon first
Yeah.
meeting them, and there are some judgments that you can make about a person that are unreasonable. Now, if somebody makes a negative judgment about a gay person, first of all, for a lot of gay people, I'm not even sure how they would be making the judgment that this person is gay, just by looking at them. But
Yeah.
let's say that they have a perfect gaydar. They know exactly who's gay. They're
Yep.
like they're like Inspector Gadget of finding gay people.
Yep.
Go Gadget, Gaydar.
All right.
Um,
All right. We
it's
get it.
if this person is seeing a gay person and then coming to like some sort of negative judgment about them, that's unbiased. Like that's they shouldn't do
Mhm.
that. That's
Yeah,
unjustified.
for sure. And would you say that it is also unjustified to be more like, hey, they're gay, but I personally wouldn't do that?
No, that's fine. That's just true. That's true
Hmm.
to say this person is gay, but I'm not gay and I wouldn't be
Right.
gay.
Because
Those are all just facts.
that's kind of the standpoint I'm coming from. This is more
Who's
that
telling you to not do that?
I don't think anyone is. I think I'm more clarifying my position because I didn't really clarify it perfectly. And to go back on that, it's more that, this is my choice, that's your choice. But since we live in a majority straight society, there just will be subtle social friction from being gay.
Mhm, and that's
And this
bad.
isn't
Friction is
necessary.
not what is, it's what should,
Yeah.
right? Like we already know this is the
Sure.
case, especially queer people. Like we live that, we
Right.
know. But you're arguing, or at least when you came up here, you argued that that's like that ought be the case.
Yeah.
Why?
Lots of
Okay.
people get sexually assaulted and they shouldn't. That's bad.
Yeah,
Right.
like that is the case, but like ideally no.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess what would be the alternative solution?
To what? I don't know, like be more
Like
accepting?
I know it kind of sounds like, the bare minimum, right? And for sure I guess I agree with that in the sense that it it should be. Let me just craft my thoughts here, because
Mhm.
um,
That's good.
I
I
guess
think that that's like I respect that. I respect a person who's crafting their thoughts.
yeah, for sure. I guess I'm not completely up to date with, the statistics. I'm not gay personally, so I don't know what it's like. If there is a genuine, um, I guess, tabooness or even hatred um, for people who are gay. I personally don't, hate people or try not to, right?
Mhm.
And in society, if everyone were to be accepting of everything and everywhere, it's kind of like the slippery slope. Not to say that being gay is the slippery slope. That's not what I'm saying. Um, but I'm just trying to find that line
Mhm.
of what else do we accept.
What if
And
we
that's not
accepted the
perfect.
things that are morally permissible and then didn't accept the things that aren't morally permissible?
Yeah.
I concur. I fuck with that heavy.
Yeah, and honestly, that lines with me too. I don't really have anything to say to that. That's well
Yeah.
articulated. I guess for me, it's more that we agree that the reality is not the case, which is not that it ought to be the case, but that
Mhm.
um, it
So
just
then
is.
it's not clear what you're saying then. Like if what you're saying is that like descriptively gay people get like discriminated against or harassed or have like these negative effects, we
Mhm.
just kind of agree, right? I'm not sure what
Right.
the point of disagreement there would be because I agree. I don't know if this is an AG story. I think this is an AG story. I could be misremembering. But you know, I think AG told a story about her mom telling her like straight up that she just couldn't accept the fact that she was gay
Yeah.
because it went against her religion, and it would like send her to hell or something. Like
Yeah.
that's I don't know. That's pretty horrible, and it's
Yeah.
like an experience that a lot of gay people have to endure. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's an unfortunate number of layers that most people don't break out of. Um, so I guess if you could just break down my logic on this, because I think this is the main contention, is that I think it should be, socially ambiguous,
What does
but
socially
also
ambiguous mean?
like that it's not
That people should
universally
feel
for
like weird when meeting a gay
no,
person, or
it's more like a middle ground. It's more like it's not universally forbidden, but it's not openly encouraged either. It's more like, they're it's tolerated isn't really the right word, but they just carry subtle social friction.
I why would we want social
Yeah,
friction?
for what?
Subtle, like very subtle.
Why would I want
For
subtle
what though?
social friction?
Okay, so let me just explain, try to articulate my full position here. It's more that um, I'm applying the fractal to this. Um, if everyone was gay, we wouldn't be in a better place.
If everyone was a
Um,
software engineer, we wouldn't be in a better place. We shouldn't I think it would be bad if we had social friction with software engineers.
I know that it kind of seems silly, but can you explain why, like the logic behind that? I understand it conceptually, but like I don't see
Social
how it
friction
applies to
is
like reproductive
undesirable.
systems.
We should want not social friction. We should want the opposite. We should want social cohesion, social unity. We're able to get more done working together. We're able to live better lives when we live them together.
Mhm.
Our lives get worse when we are living them with subtle social friction.
Mhm. Yeah, and actually, I would agree with that. So it'd be more the position of that it's openly discussed and that it's not even taboo at all. Um, would that be a
Depends what specifically is discussed. Like, there's a way to say it that's fine for probably I can't think of an age where it's, like, not fine to say, you know, "Some men like men," or, "That's his husband."
Mhm.
Those are just facts. I
Right?
don't think that there's anything, like I don't think that there's anything sexual about any of that. I think that there are certain statements that are age appropriate, and I'm fine with people hearing those ones, and there are certain statements that are age inappropriate, and I'm not fine with people hearing those ones if they're not the
Sure.
proper age.
Euphemisms.
Not really. Or well, I probably don't think you should go around saying like a bunch of euphemisms around kids.
Well, euphemisms are kind of the thing that you should say around kids. It's that version of, like, instead of he died, it's more he passed away. That's a euphemism.
Which euphemisms do you think we should say around kids?
So when someone dies, you're not gonna
No,
say
but like with respect to like gay people, like I don't. Kyler, you might be about to say something stupid, but I want to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you didn't say something stupid just now. When you
Yeah.
say euphemisms, you're not saying like sexual euphemisms, are you?
No. not
Okay,
at all.
okay. Which euphemisms related to gay people do you think we should say around kids?
So euphemism is, a phrase.
Yeah, I know what
that
a
is-
euphemism is.
Okay. Yep. So, like, for example, if someone dies, you're not going to tell your 5-year-old, yeah, grandma died. You're going to say she passed away or something like that. That's a euphemism.
Yep.
Am I right?
Got it. Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. That is a euphemism. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm lost here.
Yeah. So you said, which euphemisms do you think we should say around kids?
We already said I don't agree with saying any sexual euphemisms
No,
around
no,
kids.
but are there?
Okay.
Is there like? I guess I'm confused. I actually I think
you
I'm
just agreed
lost.
that-
I'm lost by the fact that
Okay.
you're lost because you brought up euphemisms after what I said.
Okay, I'm gonna try and rein us in a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Let me know if this is accurate for both of you.
Yeah.
So, guest, you're talking about queerness having some kind of social ambiguity, and when you went in depth about that, you were saying that there could be an allowed amount of social friction regarding gayness, and how that manifests in the context of kids was using euphemisms, right? But you're not talking about sexual euphemisms. You just mean saying things in code around kids.
Yes.
Ian's question is, how does this relate to gayness? What euphemisms surrounding queerness should we be using around kids?
Yeah, so I was more just adding on to his point, like saying, hey, that reminds me of euphemisms, like something that we do
I see.
to guard that.
That's fine, I guess. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Then yeah, sure. Then I mean, we agree that there's like age appropriate ways to talk about like gayness, even if it's like, or even not to like go into like detail about it, but just to like mention that gay people exist.
Yeah,
Even for like
yeah,
a really
for
young audience.
For sure.
Okay. I'm confused then about what we disagree on because I agree
I
like
don't know if we do.
descriptively. Okay. Well, hey, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, just on the point of the whole romance thing, with romance being sexual or not. Can we say those words now?
I don't. So I post a lot of clips to YouTube, and I think that it's kind of embarrassing to have my clips.
It is.
I don't want to say like the TikTok words in the clips that I
is.
post to YouTube. I just want to say like the real human words.
Exactly.
So I say them. It's probably bad for the algorithm, but I say them, and you can say them too.
Well, you seem to be doing okay. So TikTok maybe likes it. So yeah.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, as far as for romance, and just sexual or not sexual, and then the asexual argument in this, just to add on that, add on to that, I think intention is really important as well, because I think that it is possible for me to compliment a random girl walking out of Target and have no intention or any sexual desires whatsoever. But I also think that another man can compliment a girl walking out of Target and have the sole intention of taking her home.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sweet. Well, that's all I got.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on up, Kyler.
Hey, thanks.
Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you do think that there is something wrong with being gay. Let's read some supers. Vintage Atheist, thanks so much for the super chat. Victim blaming is stinky of heart. That's true. I disavow victim blaming. Big Boof Pass, please. Thanks so much for the super chat. If I give the homie a kiss, it's not gay. I don't care. True. Truth nuke.
The eye contact for that was very necessary.
Yeah, it was. Well, the truth was very nuclear.
Yes, of course. Also, hi, Jordan.
Oh, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. How old are you?
25.
Yep. Do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. What do you think's wrong with being gay?
Well, I just wanted to come from the point like what's the function of sex? Like,
I think it has lots of functions. So you can one
well,
of the functions
the main
is,
biological function is like to reproduce.
I
and
don't
have
know
kids,
how
right?
we assign like a main function,
Well, like what happens? That's what happens.
but lots of
Like
things
the
happen
long
too.
term. Yeah, sure, feelings and all that.
Yeah, I mean, sex has like quite a few functions. You know, it has, of course, it has like a reproductive function, but it also has like a pleasure function. It releases like certain neurochemicals. So it has
Yeah,
like
but so
like
would
an
you say
intimacy,
that
closeness
pleasure function
function.
is greater than the function of
I don't know how
creating
wave
children?
functions. What would be the criteria for determining what like the main function of a thing is?
Well, we could just go with time span. So time span, you create a life that lasts a lifetime, or pleasures that last, 10 minutes, a few minutes.
Sure, I think I'm understanding, right? So by this logic, you'd say like the function of the throat is to like choke on something and die, because then you have like a death that lasts forever, as opposed to like just like chewing
No,
and
that's not
swallowing
at all.
some
I mean, you're
food
just
that just
putting,
lasts like a day or so.
No.
Oh, I'm a bit confused as to the. Maybe I don't understand what you mean by function. Like how or like the criteria for
Oh,
functions.
matter of
Yeah,
fact,
like what
similarly,
happens
like
when-
if I'm gonna use like my anus to shit only for like a few minutes, maybe seconds, where the shit is actually going to exit my body. But inversely, if I use it to have anal intercourse, which will last significantly longer, ideally, then like the thing that has a greater function is the anal intercourse.
That's a
I
good
mean, I'm
point
not
too.
sure why we took the time that I used from, how long a life is to compare
That's
it
the
to,
criteria you
anal
said.
sex
So this would
or
have to be
choking
applicable
on
to other
food.
things in order for it to be
That
universalizable.
doesn't make sense.
Hey.
I'm sure a human life is much different than anal intercourse or choking on some food.
I agree, which
That's
is why
a
we need a
completely
better
different subject.
criteria than the main function of a thing is like the duration of time that gets produced.
But would you agree that it is of greater significance that a child is born from sex than
So
anything
actually,
else?
I have an alternative idea here. So let's just look at the number of times that sexual intercourse is used for one thing versus another, right? I would say that people have a lot more non-procreative sex than they do procreative sex. Like
Yeah,
I've had
100%.
a decent amount of sex in my life.
Okay,
What's
this
up?
guy's a sex haver. Get a load of
I
this
know.
guy.
Jordan.
Oh yeah.
What a
But
beast.
never any procreative sex, right? Like 0 kids, and I don't really necessarily have the intention of having kids in the future. So I have an entire lifetime of non-procreative sex. People usually only have, 2.5 kids, let's say, but they probably have sex more than 2.5 times, right? So,
Yeah, well, sure.
like, I would say that if we're judging it based on the number of times that an activity is used for, like serves a particular function, then sex probably has more of a non-procreative function than a procreative function.
I mean, I'm not judging it on the fact of how many times it's being had. I'm saying it's greater to have kids than to, go about how you are, having sex for pleasure, doing whatever.
Greater
Well,
in
that's pretty
terms of
arbitrary,
like
but I gave you a pretty reasonable kind of idea for why my way of judging like what the kind of primary function of something would be. Like that's
No, for
I've got
sure.
some reasoning behind it. Yours is wholly arbitrary.
yeah. Well, it sounds
It's not
and
arbitrary.
I
A
think
life is pretty great. Would you agree? Is your
Well,
life not
yeah, we agree. Life
important?
is pretty great. So it sounds like what you're saying is that the main function of a thing is like the use of it that produces the most value. Is that what you're saying?
If you want to say that, sure.
Okay, so then why aren't you like volunteering right now? You could be using
What?
your cognitive faculties to improve people's lives, but instead you're debating on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm not doing
So,
anything else.
so then like the main function of your brain should be to do like a shit ton of volunteer work.
Like perpetual.
Okay, I mean, I could ask you the same question. Why are you on here
I don't hold
debating
that
people about?
criteria in terms of like functions and like values.
Okay, what's your criteria?
So I think that something is good just insofar as it's virtuous. And I think that virtue, of course, is going to include things like charity, the virtue of charity. But it's also going to include things like temperance, which is going to be things like enjoying things in the right way, taking the right amount of enjoyment towards things, which is why I allow myself to engage in things like debates, because I enjoy them.
So would you agree it's like not virtuous to take a life?
Um, it depends on the circumstance.
Depends on circumstance. Interesting. All right. Well, would you agree that it's virtuous to give life and to, help support life?
Depends on the circumstance.
Yeah, I'm not with this whole circumstantial thing. I mean, like you don't think
Do you
it's
think-
important to give life and like
So, okay. Do you think that, let's say you like rape a girl and get her pregnant, do you think that the giving of life was like a valuable thing there?
no, that's a completely different
Yeah,
scenario.
exactly, right? So, it depends on the circumstance as to whether or not giving life is valuable.
But you in a loving relationship, giving life, raising a kid, to have a long, healthy life, that's pretty virtuous, no?
In general, I think that that's valuable.
Right,
Okay,
that's the
so we agree.
circumstance thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which is why we said it was circumstantial, because it is.
But we agree that that's virtuous. So in your
Yeah.
criteria,
If it fits within like the broader spectrum of who you are as a person, then yeah. I think all else equal, if you're not somebody who would despise having kids, I think you should probably have kids.
okay. So how do you have kids?
Through sex, usually. You could do IVF.
Okay, so that's
otherwise.
a pretty big function of sex, no?
Okay. I mean, I agree that it's a function of sex. I don't know how we compare like the magnitude of functions.
When you say big, how many days out of a cycle can a woman get or like a cisgender woman get pregnant?
It's
A
only
female
like
person?
a week, not even.
Okay, how many? And out of
Mm.
that week, on her most fertile day, what's the percentage that she can get pregnant?
It's not that high.
Yeah, it's 30%. But you think that's the main function? And more days out of the month she can't get pregnant than she can get pregnant. More days out of the year she can't get pregnant than she can get pregnant. And typically she can only have 1 to 4 children out of the entire year, being quadruplets, being one of the higher risks of pregnancy. But most times, most people just have like 1 child. So
Yeah.
if you're saying like, if you're comparing to like litters of animals or other animals where we can see they have like lots of animals, it doesn't seem like the main function of sex would be to procreate, considering that we don't use it that way, for 1, and 2, it's extremely hard to get pregnant, and it has a lot of complications and risks. And then 2, what we do see is kind of piggybacking off of Jordan, is that the main 2 functions we see is bonding, like sexual intimacy and sexual pleasure, is what we see sex being used for.
Yeah, I 100% agree with the bonding and pleasure for sure. But I think it's of a larger magnitude to have a kid through sex. Like that's obviously greater than, small pleasures.
What if you don't
Well,
want
that's
to
But
then
not
that's back to
obvious,
what
though.
that's what. But then that's back to what Ian was asking: was are you doing it based off of what you value, which you didn't? You said no. So then it is true that you think that it's of more value to have a child than to like have pleasurable sex. But that doesn't mean that it's immoral to have pleasurable sex. You have to make the argument that it's immoral to have pleasurable sex. Then
I never made that argument.
it's kind of where you're leading
Well,
now. It's like if
you
being
need to
gay
make
is
that
wrong,
argument, otherwise there'd be
Yeah.
like a non sequitur. Like I'm not sure why being gay is wrong.
No, I'm just
then.
saying that what comes from sex is babies or and pleasure, whatever. But the pleasure is nothing compared to a life.
What do you think the main function of the mouth is?
Eating, tasting, I don't know.
Is it wrong for me to kiss my girlfriend?
I wouldn't say so.
Why not? It's not its function.
The main one.
Yeah, but it's a loving, it's a bonding experience. Like
But it's not the main function, though.
I'm not saying it's wrong to have sex without having a kid. That's not where I'm
Then
coming from.
why would it be wrong to be
Then
gay?
what's the point?
Yeah, what's the argument?
Heterosexual sex. That's
about it?
Why would it be wrong
that's
to
the
be
way
gay?
to go, because that's where you get the bonding and you get the.
You also
No,
get
you get
bonding through gay
bonding.
sex.
Do you think that gay people don't have don't get sexual intimacy?
Let me go tell my
No,
girlfriend
I
it's
do.
over,
I just think it's
guess.
purposeless.
What?
It's not purposeless because purpose is subjective, right?
Yeah.
Like it's our purpose.
Okay, well,
And
it's
if I don't want to
functionless.
have
It serves no
you
function.
you
It
say
does. It's pleasurable. It's enjoyable. It has the function of like creating bonding.
But it
yeah,
does
that's two.
nothing
It
of
is
a greater
two.
magnitude. It doesn't create children.
Those you don't
But
think
you just said
That's
creating children
irrelevant.
wasn't it, though. You just said that wasn't it.
But that's
Like
also
5 seconds ago.
irrelevant. That would be irrelevant because that's not you're not arguing a morality like you're not making a moral claim here, a moral prescription about whether or not like we choose to just have sexual pleasurable sex. Like Jordan was like explaining to you, like if he's only ever having pleasurable sex for the rest of his life, he doesn't want to have kids. What's wrong with that? He's straight, and you said nothing. So what would be the difference between me and
Well,
Jordan?
I said
I'm a
it would be
lesbian. I'm a
greater for
lesbian.
him
I'm
to
only
have
having
kids than
pleasurable
to
sex.
continue only
Jordan's
having
straight, only
pleasurable
having
sex for the
pleasurable
rest of his life.
sex. But what's the difference between me and Jordan?
What was the question?
I'm a lesbian. I'm only ever gonna have pleasurable sex. Jordan's straight. He's only ever gonna have pleasurable sex. What's the difference between us?
There's no difference between you guys. I would say that both of you having pleasurable sex for the rest of your life is still less than that of
Is
creating a
it
new life.
wrong?
Because it's preventing a life.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
but
it's wrong.
no, but is it wrong?
Yeah.
To have pleasurable sex only? So like am I
For the rest
morally
of your life,
obligated
to
to have a
spend your whole
child?
life not even trying to have
Okay.
kids,
Here's
not trying to create life, not trying to raise a
Ye-
child to do something in the world.
Well, first of all, I
I
know
think
lots
that's wrong.
of gay couples
You're
that are trying to get
you're
each other, gay preggers. But, in addition to
I'm
that,
blocking you.
so okay, I'll give you a scenario. Let's say that we had like a high school sweetheart couple. They get, they meet when they're like 16. They're in a relationship for like 14 years. At some point in that, they get married, and then at the age of 30, they're ready to try to start having kids, and then they find out that one of the people is infertile. Do you think staying in that marriage for the rest of your life, even though it's not going to produce kids, would that be wrong?
Further, if you're infertile, are you just morally bankrupt in this way permanently because you can't have kids?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you have the ability to have kids, I feel like it's virtuous to have kids.
Is
Are
it
you
vir-
morally
is it
obligated?
not virtuous to not though? So choosing to not have kids is immoral to you if you have the ability to do so.
Yeah, I think so.
So
Okay,
you
that's the
so
ought
whole.
to have kids.
well, wait. So to be clear, so then you would say that it's wrong to stay in the relationship with the person after you
No,
find out
that
that
is a
they're
completely
infertile?
different scenario. They're not able
Wait,
to,
sorry,
and they're
what's the
already bonded
difference?
as a couple.
Wait, but what's the
If
difference?
you have the ability to have kids,
They do.
I
The
think it's
person who
virtuous
isn't
too.
infertile could go and marry someone else.
Once a couple's together, they're one.
Okay, sure. So a gay couple just has to get married and then they're fine.
I didn't say that.
Okay, but I thought after a couple is together, they're one. So it's okay if that doesn't produce a child as long as you're married.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting words in my mouth. Like, I didn't say that. I'm saying that if you have the ability to have kids, it's
But
more virtuous to do that than to just go about your life seeking the pleasures of life and going
Ian,
with
that
your
went over his
desires.
head.
but that
This is the
contradicts.
issue.
Wait,
I'm
wait.
gonna try to
Yeah, go for
It
it.
didn't go over my head. He's just
It did though,
trying to make
right?
a silly
Ian
argument
is saying
with
there are
the
two
same.
people that are in a couple. One of them is fertile, one of them is not. The fertile person has two options: to stay with this infertile person for the rest of their life. So any sex they have will never result in a child. So all the sex they have will be solely for pleasure and bonding and nothing else. Or in order to have a child, the fertile person can leave the infertile person to go have a kid. Which one is the virtuous one?
If
Because if
they're
having a
already a
child
couple
is
together,
paramount, they need
that
to
is completely
leave.
different. They could still, and they wanted a child, they could still go adopt the child. You know,
But they're
there's
not
plenty of
producing
ways
one,
like
which
in
was your main
vitro.
issue.
I mean, you can apply this to a certain scenario like that. It's just
What's the difference between this and the gay couple?
the gay
You are
couple's
more likely
deliberately
to adopt
choosing
men,
not to
mind
have
you.
kids.
So are they.
So like
So is
No,
the
they are
infertile
not
couple.
choosing. If
no,
The,
someone's
the
infertile,
person who's
that's not a
fertile is
choice.
choosing. The person who's fertile could
Being
choose to go
infertile is
elsewhere.
not a choice,
I
correct?
agree. Neither is being gay.
I mean, I would say it's kind of a choice.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the evidence that it's like for sure not. How would you explain the fact that as you get less genetically related to people, the correspondence between you two being gay goes down? So let me go into some details there. So let's take identical twins. They share they share all the genetics. If one of them is gay, there's a 65% chance that the other one will be gay. But if you took for example, non-identical twins, they share only 50% of the genome. If one of them's gay, then there's a 30% chance that the other one will be gay. And then if you took me and like a random person on the street, if that person's gay, there's like a 2.5% chance of me being gay. How would you explain the fact that as you get genetically less related to people, there's a lower likelihood that you'll be gay if they're gay, if it's just a choice?
I mean, you can say it's genetics, but genetics change. Like there's ways to turn on and off different gene types
I agree.
in people, right? Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Epigenetics, yes.
Okay, 100%.
Yes.
You know, I actually have somewhere to be, but I
Okay.
know I'm not going to change your guys' mind. I hope you give it some more thought.
Okay.
I would compare being gay to any other vice, such as being an alcoholic.
Mhm.
If you do it enough, you know, you're going to think that's who you are.
Before you go,
I mean,
can you
that's my whole
before
thought
you go,
process.
can you name 2 virtues? You said it was virtuous. Name 2.
Virtues,
Yeah, name 2 virtues.
like giving life or helping
Do you
other
think
people.
giving life is a character trait? Okay. All right. Based. Fucking goat, dude. This guy's like an ethical genius. Make sure.
I was going to ask him, like, you know, let's say the people didn't start out as a couple and then learn that one of them is infertile. Let's just say, like, as a person, and you know that, you know, you are fertile, and then you meet somebody and you know that they're infertile. Is it immoral to initiate that relationship with them? And if you said yes, then it's like, okay, are infertile people just condemned if they're not already in a relationship when they learn they're infertile? Are infertile people just condemned to not be in a relationship? If they're doing the moral thing, are they condemned to not be in a relationship for their entire life because all of their potential fertile partners should find other fertile partners? Like, that's ridiculous.
I think they'd probably bite the bullet on that and say, yeah, if you find out the person's infertile, you should say no.
Yeah, but then I would challenge them to like look at it from the infertile person's point of view and be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I guess they're stuck. They're done.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's like crazy. I think that maybe, well, I don't know, because I really do think that they just bite the bullet, but it's like obviously wrong to, okay. Depends on who you are as a person. If having kids is like the most important thing to you more than anything else in the world, I think maybe it's reasonable to end like a really long-term relationship because you find out your partner's infertile. And that's like sad. It's like a tragedy. But I would think if you don't value having kids, I would think it's like so crazy to end that relationship. Like that makes no sense at all.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, how's it
So-
going? How old are you?
18.
Yep. And do you think that
Wait,
there's
hold on.
Yeah,
My
premise
niece is
one.
back. I have to go. I love you all.
All right, love you.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Premise one, if there's a sound argument in favor of the proposition that being gay is wrong, then being gay is wrong. And then you can just affirm the antecedent and the conclusion follows.
Okay, sure. So what's the sound argument?
Yeah, so if there's a sound argument in favor of there being a sound argument in favor of the proposition that being gay is wrong, then
Okay,
there's a
this
sound
is
argument in
this is
favor
a really
of the
funny
proposition
troll.
that being gay is wrong.
Yo, based. Can I get the justification for there being a sound argument in favor of their? Oh, wait, that. No. Yeah, is there? Yeah, what's the sound argument
Yeah,
for the first
so
premise again?
if there's a sound argument in favor of there being a sound argument in favor of there being a sound argument in favor of the proposition that being gay is
Yeah.
wrong, then there's a sound
Based.
argument in favor of the proposition that there's a sound argument in favor of the proposition that being gay
Based.
is wrong.
God,
And then
that's
you can
so
just affirm the antecedent and the
that's-
conclusion.
God, that's so fucking based. The infinite regress of sound arguments. Hey, how's it
Hello.
going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. You sound really young. How old are you?
I'm 12.
Jesus fucking Christ, kid, get out of here. Go back to like chewing on Legos or something. Go. Well, maybe I'm evil. But anyway, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Would it be? No. I think this is perhaps optimal. Oop, one sec. I am dropping a new video right now. It's out right now. It's the debate against Liam, where he takes an IQ test and gets less than 100. Let's watch the preview. Last one.
That was beautiful to watch live. It was fantastic.
Let's go with F.
F. Your score, sorry, let's your score is below 100. We will be expanding the measurable range of this test as soon as we have gathered more data. In some cases, this can be caused by plugins or other browser-specific settings that prevent correct scoring. Liam.
What did that accomplish?
Liam.
You need to understand.
You're like 3 standard deviations below the mean.
You had,
like you should
listen.
probably shut. I think frankly, I think like the harm reducing thing. I think the utilitarian thing for you to do is to shut the fuck up for the rest of your life. Frankly, Liam. Like I actually think that when you speak, you make the people around you like actively stupider. I think that you might be the Benjamin Button of IQ. That you started off, you were born, you had 160 IQ, and you've been hemorrhaging IQ ever since. You've been losing fucking 1, nay 2 IQ points a year. You're on track for 0.
What is the
0
average
IQ, Liam?
Ian, what is the average IQ?
Is 100, Liam.
What is the
The average is 100 IQ.
Okay. So throwing a IQ test at someone.
It's an IQ test, Liam. This is why you scored so low. Hey, how's it going? Go check it out. It's live on my YouTube right now. It's titled Anti-Gay Piece of Shit Loses the Debate and Pivots to Insults. Give it a like. My YouTube channel is allegedly Ian. It's in my bio. It's in my link tree. You should all go do that. Let's read some supers. The last supers. Grimmy, thanks so much for the super chat. Things in life can be great, but life itself is a neutral function. I don't know. I think that there's something valuable about life. I think that there is, like, I certainly value like other things, but you know, let's say somebody wanted to make like an art project out of like fetuses. I would think I'd have a problem with that personally. Even ones that aren't sentient, I would think that that's like quite strange. Probably wrong even. I don't know. I think that disvalues something that has value. But you know, of course, so I think you should assign like some value to a thing like a fetus, but I just think that the total value gets like substantially outweighed by things like bodily autonomy, you know, especially when it's not even sentient. So I think that you probably should see it as having like some value, even if ultimately you think that there's like way more value elsewhere. But I don't know. I think that requires valuing things like life. I value human life. But you know, I typically, if all that there is human life, I typically value other things more. Optimus Rhymes, thanks so much for the super chat. It's better to have children even if you hate kids. No, I don't think so. I think that you should have children if you're a person who wouldn't feel like their life is like completely fucking derailed by having kids. I think that having kids probably adds to your life, but only if you're a person who's open to having kids. If you're not, then I mean, you know, obviously don't do that. Godless Punk, thanks so much for the super chat. Procreation is immoral, by the way, and I will die on that hill. Hashtag antinatalism. That just can't be true, right? I think that almost certainly commits you to the idea that like a good thing to happen would be for somebody to come and like obliterate the earth. And that can't be true. I don't know. Like I wouldn't prefer to be dead than to, you know, be alive. Like I'm glad that I'm alive. I wouldn't prefer dead. and my, you know, I don't know. I don't think my life is like more suffering than it is like happiness and joy. I just think antinatalism is like for sure false. Hail myself, thanks so much for the super chat. My mental health would make me a bad parent. It would be morally abhorrent for me to have a kid. I grieve that, but it is what it is. Having kids is morally neutral, IMO. I think it's good. If it fits into your life, I think that having a kid is good. All else equal, I think you should do it. If you don't want to have a kid, then don't do that. You know, I think it's permissible to not have a kid if you don't want to have one. But, you know, if you're open to it, I think you probably should. Daddy Todd, thanks so much for the super chat. I thought I was the only kid who chewed on Legos. No, I destroyed those tasty Lego tires. Fuck, those were so good. Chili Crunch edits, thanks so much for the Cool Corey membership. Appreciate you. Rummy153, thanks so much for that $10 super chat. Let's get a big W for Rummy153. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, Molly, do we have anything else? Otherwise, I'll shout out the book club. Okay, you guys should all join the book club. It's in the Discord, discord.gg/allegedlyian. We're reading Rosalind Hurshouse's On Virtue Ethics. It's one of the foundational texts for the modern resurgence of virtue ethics. We are going to go through the full exploration of virtue. You're going to learn about tragic moral dilemmas and about the importance of things like your character traits when evaluating moral situations. The very first meeting of the book club is going to be on June 6th at 8 p.m. EST in the Discord. It's the introduction chapter. I can't wait to see you all there. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be so much fun. Other than that, again, like the YouTube video just dropped, go give it a like, do all the things that are good, helpful, and useful and necessary for the algorithm. Other than that, shout out to all the people on the panel. Thanks all so much. Go check out my newest
Thanks,
video.
Rachel.
Yep.
Thanks,